Yeah. So good to see you. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 9th annual.
You wouldn't know it from over here, but
you would know right here. Welcome to the 9th annual Daytime Emmy Nominations Special. I couldn't think of a better guest to start this off than supporting actor nominee Jon Lindstrom, who's nominated for dual roles of Dr. Kevin Collins and Ryan Chamberlain. Well deserved.
Thank you. Thanks very much. I wonder if I should have put myself in supporting and guest actor as well.
And yeah, right. So you, what made you decide to go into supporting? And then how did you go about choosing what you were going to submit?
I made the choice to go into supporting really because I just didn't have the lead actor storyline like I had in previous years, specifically 2019, 2020, where Kevin and Ryan, and most specifically Ryan, were definitely on screen a lot more. This time I felt like both Kevin and Ryan were really in support of either Esme's story or Laura's story, or we were there dynamically, but they're really to lend support to what they were having to go through.
And you were saying Avery Pohl was so
terrific
in the scenes with you.
Terrific, just brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I can say is I wish she was nominated. I think she's a terrific actress. I think she brings everything she's got every day she shows up, and she was she was in every single one of my scenes that I submitted for consideration.
Did you tell an arc of a story? You know how sometimes these arc of
I usually do. Yeah, I try to. I'm kind of being a filmmaker, I can't help it. But yeah, this time I specifically did in terms of going from 2 or 3 scenes of Kevin talking to Esme and giving her a warning about Ryan. You really need to be careful about this guy. Don't get too close to him. And then the rest of the story had to do with who Esme really was to Ryan and Ryan's manipulation of her. So in that regard, yeah, there was definitely an arc and both sides of the story, which is interesting because it was 2 sides of Esme as well, keeping up this front and then letting down her guard in front of her.
How did you feel to killed off Ryan?
Every show closes, Michael.
Every show closes.
Yeah, they killed him off in 1995. So I think it was 95. It was so long ago. I was happily surprised to bring him back. I had a great time playing him out this time. And it ran very much similar to how it played out the first time. We thought we'd bring him back for a while, and it turned into a multi-year arc. So, which in the beginning, we never expected that either. When I was first hired to play Ryan Chamberlain all those years ago, it was going to be a 3-month story arc. It was never intended to be what it became, which was after almost a year, I was still on the show. And I only wound up playing Kevin because I got offered another job. So Wendy Rich and the powers that be offered me a contract and said, we'll come up with a twin, but we need to play this story out. And that's the way it all began. So it's been, it's been a hell of a ride. I mean, what's to complain about?
I just want to say one of the most masterful scenes was when you played Kevin looking down at a dead Ryan, and it was his brother, and the emotion that you displayed as the brother, even though this guy was so twisted, even after all he did, you had just how it would affected Kevin was so beautifully portrayed. And I just thought that was
thank you very much. We had never played out a scene like that before, where Kevin could really try to come to some sort of closure with Ryan in that regard, and with such finality. And I thought of that as when you hear about how spouses are abused and they can't leave because they still love their abuser. That's where I kind of found the similarity in it, and was able to ground it and make it something that other people could relate to, and other people saw that as well. So I guess we did something right.
Definitely. And you're in the category of supporting with some of your GH castmates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that weird?
A few, yeah. It is a little weird, but hey, I'm glad it's, we're going to have a great Emmy party.
And who is the first person you told you were nominated?
Gosh, everybody told me.
You were like, you're nominated.
I got a call from Frank Valentini right at 9 a.m. and I didn't even know. He told me. And then Katie, my wife, is actually on the East Coast right now. She texted me right away. And so I think I was in the middle of writing a text to her, and she texted me. She got the drop on me. So I called my elderly parents in Oregon and let them know.
Oh,
other than that, I let my agents and managers know, and I let my publishers for my book coming out next year know, because they get excited about things like this. So I guess that was really it. Pretty much everybody told me.
Now, this is, how many nominations does this make for you?
This is 4.
This is 4.
Yeah, it's my first supporting nomination. The other 3 were all lead actor.
Right. I think it's time. Think about.
Everybody thought that a couple of years ago.
Right. I did too. I actually did too. I had to for that.
Yeah.
But did you ever think you'd have this longevity on daytime? I mean, look at all the parts you've played.
No, I really didn't. I came into daytime just like anybody else would, looking for a job and, hoping to make some money and maybe get a pension account going. I never thought that I would be able to last pretty much anywhere as long as I've been able to last here with General Hospital. I mean, so many of the good things in my life have come from my association with General Hospital. I don't have enough fingers and toes to count all the blessings that I have because of it. So, and
you've been able to maintain that and then step out and do all your other primetime stuff in your film roles, which is what I love about you. You're doing a bunch of stuff and you do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like jumping all over into all the different mediums?
I do, because I get bored so easy. I'm really annoying that way. I just get bored so fast. So I need these things to keep me going. I did 2 movies last year, and I'm leaving, actually, that's why I have this. I'm going out to the Midwest at the end of next week to do something which I can't really talk about yet. But so I live a very full and wonderfully diverse creative life. So lucky me. That's all I can say. I get up every morning and just go, I get to spend all day, every day doing the things that I love to do. I'm just the luckiest man alive.
And is it more fun to play a bad guy like Ryan than?
Oh yeah, always.
Gotta be, right?
Yeah. There's no social governors where bad guys are concerned. I remember Richard Gere said that, and I can't remember the movie, but it was one that he did, I think with Andy Garcia, where Richard Gere played this psycho cop. And he was terrific. And it was like some of the best write-ups in his career. And somebody asked him, why do you do that? Why would you want to play a character like that? And he says, because they're easier. And they are. There's nothing that gets in the way between you and your impulses. You can just have fun playing roles like that.
And 60 years of General Hospital, you get a nomination. This is a big year for the show. The show had the most nominations.
50th anniversary for the Daytime Emmys.
Daytime Emmys. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like this would be really cool.
Are you feeling it?
I'm feeling it.
Okay. All right. Well, if you're feeling it, I'm going with you.
I'm feeling it. I mean, I'm usually a good Emmy karma and good Emmy.
Okay.
I think
I do actually watch. You are a fan of it. So,
I watch, and because I've worked on the Emmys 19 times, I've worked on the show and had to go through the
Oh my gosh, really?
I've had to go through the nominee packages and look at what are we going to use as that 10, 15 second moment from the actors' reels when they do the nominees are. So going through those and seeing what people submitted and then those tapes, you get kind of, you see how they're trying to get the nomination and the work they do, and picking out a nugget that can translate to people when they may not know the show.
Yeah.
Because, everybody
Yeah,
does.
how do you encapsulate that?
How do you encapsulate it?
Yeah.
Will you have a speech ready?
Wow.
Are you
That's a really good question. I have,
just in case,
I have prepared speeches in the past, just all for naught. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably come up with something just in case.
just in case.
Yeah, there are certain people that I would want to thank, and there's the situation that I would want to acknowledge. So yeah, I'll probably come up with something, but I probably won't do anything verbatim. I might wing it a little bit.
Are you a writer down speech person, or can you wing it without the paper?
Well, God, if I can't wing it by now, they'd drum me out of the union.
It always so interesting to me which actors, when they're nominated and win an award, need to go to the paper and which can speak. And it's very interesting to me.
Well, it's even,
I guess you don't want to forget people.
You don't want to forget people, and I've presented several times, and and I have won, different awards at different things, at film festivals and Soap Digest awards and things like that. But, it is a very nerve-wracking event, and it's a good idea, now that I'm talking about it, saying it out loud, it's probably a good idea to write something down and have it in my pocket just in case I go, oh my God, I can't remember. So, oh yes, all right, I got to remember so-and-so, So, and it's polite. You want to remember everyone who deserves being mentioned.
Right. Well, Jon, congratulations.
Thank you
so much for starting off the show tonight. And
my pleasure.
With me, it's always great to see you.
It's always great to see you, Michael, and I hope to see you in June.
We'll see you in June.
All right.
Bye, Jon.
Bye-bye. Have fun.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
And now, Billy Flynn is joining us, lead actor nominee. Oh, hey.
Michael.
Did I not call this? I called this. I said, who gave the best performance last year? I said Billy Flynn.
Did you?
What do you mean? I gave you, remember my end of year picks? I said you were the best overall performance.
That's right. Actor. I thought you were just being polite and you say that to everybody.
Give me some credit.
No, I know. I'm just nervous and I'm being insecure.
Are you behind a steering wheel? Because your head is like in the steering.
I know. I was trying to frame it as well as I could. Listen, I just got done with work and they gave me the opportunity to talk to you, and I'm not going to say no. So we work with what we got, and we're driving home.
We're driving home. So you find out you're nominated by how? By the watching last night on TV. How did you find out you were lead actor nominee?
It's actually funny because so I was confused. Somebody had told me late in the day yesterday that they were actually announcing my category that night, because I thought I was going to find out this morning like everybody else, and then I found out late that they were doing it on Extra. My parents are actually in town. And my wife was actually getting home last night. So I was trying to figure out what time Extra was on so I could see if my wife was going to be home and my parents were still going to be at the house so we could all watch it together. And in doing so, I guess it had already aired on the East Coast. And I literally saw, and I was like, what? So I knew I was, and then Leah called, our publicist, and told me, and then I had to go home, and it's funny because my wife was just getting in town. She was in New York, and my parents were in town helping watch our son while I was working. And So I was trying to play coy, and I was like, hey, what time are you guys going to head to your hotel tonight? Let's, they're going to air the nominations. Now I already know, and I'm not a great actor, so I might have given it away a little bit, but
Yeah.
but they're like, no, we'll watch it back at our hotel. We're gonna, they're tired. I mean, my son is he's beautiful and amazing, but he's a wild boy, and he can take a lot out of you. He's got a lot of energy. So they're like, we're gonna go back to the hotel and we'll watch it and we'll call you, if you win. And my wife had just walked in the door, and I was like, all right, well then, I got nominated. I don't have to watch it. So we all kind of got to celebrate at least together a little bit.
Well, I was the same way you were. I was like, wait, they're doing lead actor on. I was the same way. I didn't know till the East Coast feed. I was like, wait, this is happening now. And so I saw your name and I was like, right on. They got this one right. No, they did. What did you end up submitting though? Did you go with the Abigail Chad material at the grave?
I did. I mean, listen, you know me after all these years. I have a pretty hard time figuring out what to do. But there was one scene that was obvious that I wanted to use, which was Abigail and Chad in the graveyard when she comes back as a ghost. And then I actually used, I think I probably had the longest Emmy reel. So thank you to everybody who sat through it. But it was a scene with my son on the show, Thomas, a really cute scene where I'm apologizing to him for my behavior after his mom died, and he was wonderful in it. And then a scene with Clyde in the graveyard, a small part of that, and then the whole bit of me and Abigail, me and Marcy.
And Dan was nominated too.
We had almost a Demera sweep. Me, Dan, Stacy, and Carrie, who plays my son on the show, is in younger actor.
So what do you think about your nominees in the category with you? You've got Peter.
First of all, could it be a more intimidating category?
It's huge
to be in.
Yeah.
I messaged Maurice. I love all of them. I'm not as familiar or close to Jason or Thorsten, who I also think are amazing. But I messaged Maurice because I did his podcast in 2021, and we were, kind of like made a joke, like, maybe one day we'll be nominated again. Because the last time I was nominated, he won. And then I actually reached out to Greg Rickard, who's a friend of mine, to get Peter's number, because Peter's the sweetest man one of the sweetest people I've ever met. And he's always been so kind to me, and I wanted to congratulate him in person. And I reached out to Greg for his number, and Peter actually got my number from him and beat me to it as a joke. And but anyway, I think the nominees are amazing. Honestly, it's even just getting the nomination with those guys, I'm super honored. The result is whatever it's going to be. But yeah, I mean, I feel very grateful and honored.
And Marcy was in Marcy was in most of the scenes, right? Or
she was in the biggest chunk of them. Yeah. And
didn't your son your son get nominated too? Your on-screen son?
Yeah, and he was actually in one of the scenes I used. And I think he used the same scene that I used, and maybe another one with the two of us. But he got nominated. I was so happy to see his name. I was probably more happy. I was like tracking. I was like asking Leah. I was like, did they announce Younger yet? And obviously Victoria from our show got nominated Younger too. And I was really happy for her. He's a really really good young man.
So this is what? How many nominations does this make? Is this
3 or 4? 3, maybe one of them was like a pre-nomination or something. Back when they did that,
right?
3 or 4.
3 or 4.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
The bridesmaid. Well, I don't know. Now I think you've got a good shot. Again, I don't know, because I didn't see all the reels myself.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, I'm sure everybody in this category has probably a pretty solid reel, and you know, I put my best foot forward with the stuff that I liked, that I thought was good this year, and you know, if other people thought that that was it, you know, it's been so tough to judge. I mean, listen, all of us in this genre in daytime shooting 256 episodes a year, and it takes more than even just our good performance. Everything has to work on that moment. All the cameras, the sound, you know, the other actors you're with. So it's like to choose a little bit, and then you know, pretend like you're number one, and you know, if you win, you're the best in that category. It's just impossible. Like everybody, I feel like, is amazing. Sorry about all the noise, you know.
Well, I have some of the fans that are with us tonight. Gwen Marie said, I'm rooting for Billy. Dinah said, I want Billy to win. Alyssa said, hi, Billy, you are an amazing actor. So they're kind of like digging on you here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate that.
Queen of Demiras said, congrats, Billy.
The Queen? Is that Lauren Koslow?
Queen of Demiras, congrats, Billy.
Yeah. That's amazing. And it makes me feel really good. And that's the only other way to say it. It makes me feel really happy. Yeah, it's odd. This time around, like, I feel like there's always so much anxiety in the other nominations for whatever reason, especially, you know, maybe it was an age thing. You know, probably a lot of insecurity and stuff. And in this one, I'm able to just kind of sit back and really just enjoy it for what it is, and not be like, not worry about whatever is next, you know. It's or like the fear of, like, you know, or wanting to win and admitting that, or not winning, and then pretending like I don't care. I do care. You know, and it would be nice, but ultimately, like, this is the moment, is like it just feels really good, and I'm really happy this time around. And also, can I say that we didn't have any women from our show nominated, but and I know that there's a lot of amazing women nominated, but I'm a big fan of Missy Egan. So let her know that she's got my vote.
I will. She is. Did you see her work? Did you see her?
I see some. Yeah. I mean, I'm close with Greg Rickard, so like, and I catch it all the time. I didn't see the reel specifically, but she's amazing.
Did Greg text you congratulations?
Yeah, I think he did, and then I think he told me I didn't deserve it, and I wasn't very handsome, and they could have found better or something like that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, remember the conversations we had last year, and we were talking about, I was telling you as an audience member, it was so frustrating with how all the teases of who was the murderer, and you kept having to be all angsty with all these different, it was this one, it was that one, it was that one, it was that one. And it was kind of like, when is this going to end for him? And I'm just so glad it ended with those scenes, because
me too.
It was kind of like floating around. You had to get up this emotion for this, and then it wasn't really it. And then you had to do this, and it really wasn't really that. It was just a lot of.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a long storyline, and I'm very happy it ended with that. That's the one that it should have been, you know. You know, just me and Marcy kind of doing what we do. And I think like, I was lucky enough to tell a really beautiful romance for 10 years. And I have two Abigails to thank for that, Kate and Marcy. And I was really grateful to be a part of that. And, you know, it's a soap. You never know what's going to happen. You know, that being said, I thought that moment summed up Chad and Abigail connection with one another just about more than anything else could have. And that's just them talking to each other about their love for one another and their family.
I'm so proud of you, Billy. You've done so much great stuff. You've worked so hard. I'm always so happy for your success, because I always said when we first met, I'm like, who's this guy? It's like you had that it factor. It just worked out. And when they give you the ball, when they give you the material, don't get in an accident.
I won't. I won't.
When they give you the material, it's like, okay, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Listen, I feel the same. You know, there's so many actors on our show, and there's so many storylines to play out. And it felt nice that they gave me the opportunity with this chunk to let me do what I feel like I got to do for so many years, which was to tell these big stories that I feel like I didn't get to tell for a number of years for whatever reason.
right.
It felt good. And I'll be honest, there was a part of it. I remember when the storyline started, I was like, I don't know if I don't know if I can do it just insecure actors shit. And, I'll be honest with you, like having, again, back to Chad and Abigail, that rooted everything for me. Everything was grounded in it. And a lot of the scenes, there's some of the scenes like we talked about that you got to go in and you got to yell at this guy. I don't want to yell. I yelled at the last guy, and that just is what it is. But like everything came back to, especially when Marcy was there or around, the love I have for that character and for our characters and the relationship that we had and everything that we've been through. And yeah, I was really sad. Like those tears you saw in some of those moments were legit. Like, damn, we told not even a 10-year, because Casey was before me, and actually thanks to Casey too, because he started this whole thing with Kate, Casey Dietrich, obviously, and to be a part of that type of romance on a show, and it was all real, like.
And you got to work with Kate Manzi and Marcy. They were both powerhouses. Powerhouses. And like Marcy is so simple in her delivery, yet it's so powerful. Like it's so simple and like almost pure, but it's so powerful. It's so effective. She's very effective without doing too much, is what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I was a very lucky guy.
So will you have a speech in case you win? Are you going to wing it?
You know what? I'm going to wing it. I'm not going to assume. I've went there with a speech the last 3 times, and it didn't go my way. I'm just going to go and enjoy, and whoever, if I win, I know who to thank ultimately. Just remind me not to forget my wife, and I'm good.
You know how many people have forgotten their wife though? Like people do get up there.
I might thank her first, so I don't have to worry about it, and then I'll get to everybody else.
That's right. Always thank the wife first, and then work your way down.
Yeah.
How is working with Abigail Klein?
She's the sweetest. If you're asking Billy, I love her. I think she's amazing. And I don't have enough nice things to say about her. I think, and that's her. From the characters, it's just interesting because I have to play the honesty of what Chad's life is, and I don't think that they're supposed to or ever going to have the chemistry that Chad and Abigail did. That love. We tackle it sometimes as like, they're two people who were friends who found a moment that maybe they can make each other happy. And I think it really works that way. But Abigail's amazing. She's one of the sweetest people I've ever met. So I've been pretty lucky to work with her too.
Well, thank you so much for popping in and celebrating your nomination with us. Yeah.
Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you on Emmy night.
I'll see you on Emmy night. I'll see you later. Love. Bye.
Take care. All right. Bye, Michael.
And now, bye, Billy. And now I bringing on Finola Hughes, who is our lead actress nominee.
Hi.
Hello. Congratulations.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much.
So deserved. Were you surprised?
Yes, completely. Very, very. Oh yeah, very. Yeah, I was just at home cooking, and Frank called. Yeah, and I was surprised on two fronts because first of all, I didn't think that I'd asked to be put in the supporting because I thought, I wasn't sure what material I had, but anyway, they had just gone ahead and put me in leading actress, and then he told me, so it was a big surprise.
Amazing. Do you even know what scenes did you choose your scenes? Do you know
I did. I really only I kind of knew what I had, and it was the scene, the Peter scene, when I leave him to die. When
the
I let him.
best? I mean, the best meaning, I remember watching it, having this reaction of just watching Anna with all those emotions that you played.
Right. It was
While he's laying there and you pull his eyes closed, like that scene, right?
yeah. It was a really interestingly written scene. I think it was quite daring, for the writers, and it was almost like Christina's character, Felicia, kind of ostensibly killed him, but then we could have saved him, but I didn't. And so it was kind of interesting.
You're like, yes, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know.
No.
That was really hard yeah, everybody was really sad that day.
And you've won once before for lead.
Yes, but I mean, I think that's 30 years ago.
It was 30 years ago.
Oh, okay.
The reason I know so well is because weren't you not there?
I wasn't there. Yeah, I was
Right. So we were at the Marriott in New York, and I remember it was there because I was working on the Emmy show. Like, I was producing the clip packages, and I was there, and they went Finola Hughes, and I was so excited because I was like, oh, maybe I'll meet Finola Hughes. Like, she's gonna be, and then you weren't there.
No, I was getting my green card from England. And yeah, I was getting my green card. So, it was kind of an amazing day because I got my green card the same exact day.
So other than the Peter scene, was there more to your reel than just the?
Yes, I did I think there was another scene with Michael, I believe. And then there was a scene with James. So it was kind of a multi kind of hyphenate deal. Like yeah. Yeah.
Did James say anything to you when he found out you were nominated?
Yeah, he texted me yesterday. Everybody did, actually. It was a really lovely day. It was a really nice day. And my son gave me a hug because he was watching me on the phone because Frank just called me, and and we were all in the kitchen hanging out, and so. Now, and you don't often get hugs from teenage boys, so it was.
No, I probably not. And I was going to just say, what about Johnny, your dog?
Well, he's,
Did he get excited? Because it's all about Johnny.
It's all about Johnny, and I didn't tell him because he would have made it about himself. So I just wanted to hold on to the moment.
Hold on to the moment.
Yeah, I did.
Did you hear?
God knows.
Did you hear from Kimberly?
Kimberly, no, you know what? I haven't spoken to her yet. But the first thing I did was I sent out a text to Michelle, and I said, "Will you be my date?" So we talked yesterday, and we're going to go dress shopping, and I think I'm going to see her on Saturday. So yeah.
Fine. Well, you always look, you both of you always look so fashionable. Everybody always, when we do best dress, we always put you in like.
Oh, thanks. I remember when Michelle won her supporting actress, because that was when we first met. So I think it was probably 97-ish, 90, something like that. And she asked me to go to her house. We just started working together, and she said, "Will you come to my house? I want you to look at this reel because I'm going to submit it." Right. And I was like, okay. So we go and sit at her house. Like, I'd literally just met her. We're
You're
sitting.
Like, what is she at?
Yeah. And we're sitting there and we're watching it. And at a certain point, I turn to her and I say, what is this for? What category is this? And she goes, oh, supporting. And I said, oh, you've so got this. You have this in the bag. And she did win. So yeah, it was really, and then I remember exactly the dress she wore. She wore a blue and white, I'm gonna forget his name now. It'll come to me, but just this incredible designer dress. And, you know, and when I saw the dress, I was like, we're going to be friends.
Now,
because I'm that kind of shallow.
you are, but you like the fashion, right? That's, you love it. I mean, which is great.
I love it.
Right. We always want to see what Finola wears. We do. Well,
maybe less these days, you know, I you know, yeah.
Now, I want to talk to you about, I was so touched that Sonia Eddy received a nomination.
Oh my gosh, I know.
And I thought, I've got to talk to Finola about this because you knew her so well. And it was so heart-tugging to see today. What do you think she would say if she was nominated? I mean, I
think she'd be really touched. She'd be really touched. And she, you know, I first met her when we were doing Night Shift. And she was so incredible, you know, in Night Shift, and just the lovely work that she did. And yeah, I think she would be just over the moon.
Did you happen to see her reel? Do you even know what was on her reel?
No, you know, I'm really, you know, I don't even get involved in any of the reels at all. I don't know what she submitted, but I know I spoke to Frank today and he was absolutely over the moon. And
it was such a surprise.
And here's the thing. We got 19 nominations today, and the one person that would have been so thrilled is Nika, who we also lost this year, and she worked so hard on the Emmys.
I was going to bring Nika up next because every Emmys, I always am on the phone with Nika. I'm always working with her, whether I was working on the Emmy telecast itself. So we were doing clips and figuring things out, and it was always running through Nika. I had so many conversations at this time of the year with Nika, and then we became really good friends. And she always loved to know, like, what's the gossip? What's going on? You know, what's up? She was always like that. And this time of the year is, what's so sad is losing her and all of this right now happening. It's so hard.
Yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, she would have been so happy especially about Sonia. And, you know, Nika's fingerprints are over all of our submissions.
She works so hard.
Yeah, she really did.
She worked so hard. Do you think you'll have a speech prepared? I'm asking everybody, will you go paper in hand, or would you just wing it if your name was called?
Well, you know, I think I'm more the wing it type, probably. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you know, yeah, I tend not to think about that portion of it, really, you know.
I was just talking to Billy Flynn, and we were saying, just make sure you thank your wife first, because a lot of people forget to thank their husband or their wife or their children. Like, they just kind of go on, and then they go, shoot. And then I'll be backstage and I'll be like, I forgot to thank my.
No, yeah. Well, I don't have a wife, so I'm
right. See, you've got a great category.
I know. Oh, they're lovely. They're just.
Aren't you all going to go have the ladies' luncheon?
I hope so. I'm not sure who's so.
Shell Morgan won last year.
Oh, Shells. Yeah, that's right. Yes,
Shell
good.
Morgan.
Yes.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll do that. I mean, yeah.
That would be great.
That'd be amazing.
So great.
So how does this year stack up for you, like story-wise, getting this nomination this past year? With everything you've done, we're celebrating the 60 years of General Hospital.
Right.
I love the fact that they sent you out all over to do the mainstream press. You were the person.
Yeah.
Was that cool being the person? Like you and Maurice went out on different things.
Yeah, Maurice went out the week right after me. And I think Maurice would have probably really liked it if we'd both flown together, because, you know, he had to fly on his own. So, but I mean, literally, like, I didn't know, I think it was almost the night before I was leaving. And I said to Mariana, the PR lady, I said, oh, so who's going? And she was like, you. And I said, and who else? And then she said, well, Maurice is going next week. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm on my own. So I really didn't sort of put it together. And I just was happy to represent, I just wanted to kind of not fail at it. And so, yeah.
I mean, you were with Robin Roberts. I saw you on Good Morning America. What was that like?
She sent me an email. Yeah, I'm finished. I'm done. I'm just done. I'm done. It's all over.
She thought she was excited to meet you, right?
Well, I mean, I think I didn't know it was going to be Robin. I just didn't know, and I think when I got to Kelly's show, which was right after, and I was like, Kelly, I met Robin this morning. And she was like, I know, I've met her too. And I was like, yes, but anyway. So she was like, you need to calm down. Yeah, I think I sort of right at the end of the interview, I was like, Robin, this is really a treat for me. And anyway, so she just sent me an email and it was just lovely. And yeah, that was pretty great. Yeah.
And did you do the Nightline thing too, right?
I did do Nightline.
I saw
Yeah.
that.
With
Yeah.
Stephanie, yes.
Yeah. And the thing that I loved, it was one of the interviews, I can't remember, but it was what we discussed in our last interview together on the channel, when you told me the story about, the script with Lumina, with the alien coming in was the hardest thing to play. And so you were saying that story. That
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
Now, did you put your scripts in the closet, like the good scripts that you liked this year, to help you with this nomination?
I didn't. Like this year, I've actually decided I'm trying to do Marie Kondo, so I'm trying not to clutter. So I didn't do the scripts this year because it was so crazy, and I thought I might set fire to something. Not that there's ever,
Right.
But they were sitting on top of my. I have like a little ice box, like a fridge. And they were sitting right on top of it. And I was like, that's probably not so safe because I think air comes, not that I know how these things work, but I think air comes out of the back of a fridge and it might be warm air. I don't know. And it's in a closet. So the whole thing, I was like, oh, this could really combust. So this year I did not do the script situation. And so therefore that meant
This works without the scripts.
So I just was like, I in my mind, I always just really had just a couple of shows. So yeah.
Well,
I remembered.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's so great to see you and to congratulate you. It's wonderful news. So I'll see you in June, hopefully, or before. Yes, I'll see you in June at the GH convention too, right?
Oh, is it in June? Okay, great. Yes, I'll be there.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, and I'll be there with Michelle.
I'll be there, Michelle. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for all the support. Thanks, Mike.
Of course. Bye, Finola.
Bye.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Sharon Case will be with us very shortly. I'm very excited to see Sharon. Sharon!
Hi! My dogs are going to bark a little.
I love everybody going, Queen Sharon, Queen Sharon. It was so wonderful.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It must be so for everything you've gone through, all the ups and downs, to get this recognition when so many times, so many of us are like, well, what about Sharon?
Yeah. Yeah, that happened. That happened. It definitely plays into how I feel today. I was really proud of the work I did this year. I'm generally proud of my work, but to finally have this nomination means a lot to me, mainly because it's just been so long and I've been on the show so long. So I just feel like I don't know, you feel like you're part of the group or something, where for a long time, I wasn't a part of the Emmys. I was there sometimes, and I was presenting, and so I was a part of it in that way.
What did you end up submitting? What scenes did you go with for your reel?
I chose this storyline for when Ray dies. It starts with me. I think I have a short scene with Ray actually first, and then Nick comes into the coffee house and tells me that he died in a car crash. And then there's some aftermath scenes after that of Sharon in her living room with her family and grieving.
Though I am so glad you put that scene in.
Thank you.
Where Nick tells Sharon that Ray has died, and what was so amazing and powerful about that scene was you played it as if she knew in her gut
She did.
something happened. It was so sad because she's like, I don't want to hear this. I don't
Yeah.
want to hear this, because then it would make it real.
Yeah, all of the scenes leading up to it, there were a lot of scenes with Chelsea leading up to it, and she had been trying to get a hold of Ray. So had Chelsea been trying to get a hold of him, and he was so delayed, we started thinking the worst. Well, Sharon started thinking the worst. And yeah, I think leading up to that, she ultimately just felt something's wrong. And Sharon and Nick know each other so well. She could tell when he walked in the door, the look on his face right away. That was it.
It was so memorable. See, that was when I saw that you were nominated, and you and I, who we do talk, we did not talk about this. So I was assuming in my head that scene had to be in there.
Yeah, that was a great scene. It was written by Lynn Martin, and she and I talked about it. I told her how much I loved the scene and how it was written. She told me about how she came to write it that way, and I thank her very much, our entire writing team. I love that whole storyline. I'm sad to see Jordy go, of course. We all are. But the material that they wrote was really great, and it was lucky to have that.
So the fans that are with us tonight, Cynthia is saying Queen Sharon. Freeman is saying, I'm rooting for Sharon to win. I'm so happy that she finally got nominated again. She has deserved nominations quite a few times and wasn't on the list. Amber says, Alicia says, so happy for Sharon Case. My family loves watching her every day. Sherry Calvert says, congrats, Sharon, so well deserved. Cynthia H. Sharon was way overdue for this Emmy nom. Congrats.
Thank you so much. It's nice. I love hearing from all the viewers on Twitter and hearing their feedback. Thank you for acknowledging me and acknowledging all of that, and for always being there and putting in your 2 cents. And I really, really, really appreciate it. I do. I've been looking at my Twitter. I do look at it and see all of your comments, and it really means a lot. And I love giving a shout out to the fans on Twitter, my followers, some of them, Carly723. Hey, she always has such sweet things to say about me. And Sarah YNR, Sharon Case fans. And there's so many of them, but Cindy, big BB fan, she's also a really great fan of Sharon's and of Young and the Restless, and obviously B&B. That's great. So I love giving a quick shout out to some of the people who I see regularly on there. And there are many more, and if I haven't mentioned you, I will.
But you have had, over these years, you have such a great fan base who defends you, who roots for you, and not everybody has that like you do. You know, they don't. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I think it's...
I only see my Twitter account. So, but I do see that there's a great big following, for Sharon and Nick, for the Young and the Restless. And it's really, really, really beautiful and very heartfelt. I definitely feel the love. Thank you all so much for being there. I'm so glad that you're there. You're interested in the show. You love it. You're commenting, that you love Sharon. And I love you back.
What do you think about the nominees in your category? You've got
unbelievable.
It's like Powerhouse City.
Yes, I wouldn't want any other way. I mean, to finally get nominated and to have it turn out like this is so great. The first thing I did was call Michelle Stafford. I mean, Matt Kane called me, our publicist, and I was trying to get off the phone with him. I'm like, I've got to call Michelle because he told me who was nominated, and I'm like, I've got to call everybody. I'm going to call Michelle first. So he said, no, I'm calling her next. And I said, no, well, hold on. Let me call, give me a few minutes. And then I looked to my phone. She had already texted me and Missy. And so we were all so thrilled to be nominated together. And we've got also Peter and Jason. I mean, Young and the Restless is going to these Emmys. It's going to make it so fun.
The lead actor and actresses are heavily from Y&R.
Yeah, isn't that amazing and great?
In the 50th year. In the 50th year.
And the 50th year of the Emmys too.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Sharon.
50-50.
I also was going to say, I was doing a show and we were talking about Y&R 50th anniversary, and they said, well, Michael, what do you think are the most memorable? And I go, well, Cassie's death.
Yeah.
Like it is just, and I said, watching Sharon, Joshua, Cameron in those scenes, you can watch it over and over and over again. And it was 2005.
Yeah.
We're in 2023,
Mm-hmm.
and I can put that scene on and lose it.
And lose it. Me too. And that's funny. I mean, I'm the actress in the scene, but every time I watch it, I start crying. It was just such a sad scene. It was so beautifully written. It was, losing a beloved character like that, a child, that was one of the greatest of all.
Your character and what you have gone through with the character, because they have written over the decades for you, character changes, this happens to her, she has bipolar, just like all these different things along the way happened, right?
Yeah, a lot of things
That is
happened.
not where you started from as just like, I'm the young heroine of the show.
Yeah, not at all. It really built over the years, one thing after the next, and each one added to who she is, and over the years she grew and grew stronger, and she overcame a lot. I got to do a lot of fun stuff.
And I would say, so we remember it was the pink princess dress at the Emmys.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that dress. I think I still have it.
Well, that was, remember, I think I always told you, you looked like a princess. You won supporting. And it was just such a beautiful, so will you do a princess spinoff dress this, or you do something?
I hadn't thought of that.
Something to harken back to your first win.
That's a great idea. That's at least a great starting point if I don't end up landing there, because I just not thought about it at all. I'm currently working a lot on a big storyline. So I'm rarely not at the studio. The only thing I thought of is, gee, when am I going to have time to really put some time into this? Because I would really like to find something special.
And how is that for you? Are you someone that likes to dress up and find the right dress and get into the fashion of it? Or are you like, do you like that part of it? Or is it like, oh, I've got to find a dress?
I mean, both. Some years, yes, some not. No, it depends on just how crazy busy my life is at the time. But this is a special occasion, so I would like to do that this time, yes.
Well, Amber says, I can't wait to see what Sharon wears.
Yeah, I can't wait to see either. I need some good ideas. What should I wear?
I know. Well, ask your Twitter fans.
Twitter. I'll probably get a lot of ideas.
Ask their Essos fans.
Yeah.
I
look good in.
Did you hear from Joshua? Did Joshua congratulate you? Or?
Yeah, I was working with Joshua today, and he did congratulate me. And let's see, who else was I working with? Well, some people I was working with, I can't say because I can't give away. But Sally McDonald, who directed the scene where Sharon finds out that Ray's dead, she was there directing today. So we had a big hug, and let's see, and Josh Griffith was there, and he congratulated me. We had a nice hug, and I mean, a lot of, it was funny. Michael Graziadei, his dressing room was placed next to mine today. And several times somebody came knocking on my dressing room door. And so I came out and answered, and it was somebody wanting to say congratulations. And always just then Michael was coming out. I think he thought maybe somebody was knocking on his door. So several times. And by the end of the day, he was like, I know you're just here to congratulate Sharon. I'm like, I'm sorry, Michael Grossman. You must want to pull your eyeballs out by now. Oh my gosh.
That is hilarious.
It was funny, but I'm sorry to disturb you, Michael. And he looked fabulous. He looked amazing. He always does.
He looks great. And when I saw everybody at the 50th anniversary party, everybody was like, oh my God, everybody's so glammed up and they look so great. And
Yeah.
they look really nice. So you, if you win, what would this mean to you?
Oh, I would mean that I would finally get to thank a lot of people. I've worked there for 30 years and I'm of course always grateful and thankful to people regularly, but it would be nice to have a really phenomenal opportunity to thank all the people in my life, not just the people I work with, but family, friends, and people who have been with me and supported me my whole life.
When you found out you're nominated, did you cry or jump for joy, or how were you?
I screamed a lot. I was really shocked. I had a crazy day. I've been working long hours. I have a lot of dialogue, so I'm quite taxed, and I don't even know how I'm still sitting
Talking.
here.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm sitting here, but I went to work yesterday, very early, and I thought that the nominations were today. So when I went to work, I didn't think that was nomination day. And then I was going to be on stage for a very long period of time. I thought somebody said, no, nomination day is today. I'm like, oh gosh, it's just like me to get that date wrong, get some date wrong. Okay, well, I'm going to be on stage. I guess if I end up getting the nomination, someone will come over the PA and say something, or I'll hear something. So after hours went by and we finished the set and I didn't hear anything, I'm like, oh, okay. And then, so I got out of the building and drove home. And then what happened? Oh, I came home and then I saw a notification on Twitter about Emmys being today. I'm like, oh no, they're wrong. Somebody at work said that too, but I don't think that was right. By the time I'd gotten home, I guess there have been a lot of conversations about Emmys and a lot of confusion that day. Other people were saying, no, it wasn't today. It is tomorrow. So, oh my gosh, after all this, I'm waiting, I'm going to memorize my dialogue for the next day. I think Emmy nominations are tomorrow. And my publicist calls me just then. And when I saw his name come up, I knew what that phone call was. That's the phone call that you get that I haven't had in 20 years. And well, it seems like 20. And so I was just gobsmacked. First of all, I didn't even know that this was really happening this day. I certainly wasn't expecting anything. I mean, why would I? And Matt calls me and tells me, you're nominated. I just screamed and screamed and screamed. I had to apologize to him today for screaming so much.
Amazing. Sharon, I'm so happy for you. Thank you so much for coming on and spending some time and letting us share in this with you.
Oh my gosh,
I mean,
it's my
you have
pleasure.
so many people were so happy.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I saw a lot of that online and I really appreciate that. I appreciate that people are, in the same boat as me and feeling that same feeling that it's just,
Well, we love you. We love you. We know how hard you work and they're so rooted into you and the character of Sharon. And so this is just a win-win for all of us, and
well, we're all rooted in each other. Thank you. Thank you also, Michael. Thank you for having me. Thank you for all the work that you've been doing in daytime TV with us all these years. It's a pleasure to be here and a wonderful opportunity to be here and get to do these things and talk about the show and the characters and Emmys now. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that so much. All
Yeah,
right, we'll see each other soon. We'll see each other soon.
Okay, well, we will.
All right, sweetie. Have a good night. Thank you so much.
All right. Good night.
Bye. Bye. Bye, Sharon. And now Stacy Haiduk will be joining us from Days of Our Lives.
Got it. Got it.
Got it.
Hold on. How do I do the? Oh, Jesus.
Your camera's
How
muted.
do I do this stuff? I always get so confused on this. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Hold on.
You're not muted. You're not. You can't hear me?
We're gonna.
You're not on mute.
I can't hear.
I hear you. You're not on mute, so we can.
Where do I go? Where do I go?
Well, it's showing that you're not
Show-
on mute.
Mute, unmute.
Look, I'm going to. Hold on.
Unmute. Unmute. Are you kidding me?
You're on mute.
Okay. Show.
Look, I'm typing you a message. Look. I'm typing you a message.
Like a sign.
Watch, look at,
Right?
no.
Well, hold up. Signs. What do I do? Okay. Live recording, custom live streaming.
Do you see?
I'm not stopping video. How do I do this, Michael? Okay.
Wait.
You're not on mute. I know. I'm not on mute. I can't hear you though. Why? We can just hold up signs to each other. I'm so sorry.
Maybe you should here, read this.
Okay.
Wait.
What am I to do?
I'm typing.
Help,
I'm
help.
typing you.
Let me see. Hold on. Volume. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Shit, I hate this stuff. Okay, speak to me.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry for my cussing and swearing, and I'm
Can you
like,
hear me?
I can hear you now. I hear you now. I feel like I'm on one of those phone ads. Can you hear me?
where everybody's going, her computer audio is off. She has to go to her audio setting. They're weighing in.
Thank you. I am so not techno savvy, and I suck at this, so I apologize.
I was writing her, ladies and gentlemen, to go to her computer. I'm reading what they're saying to fix the audio, what you're saying, but I was putting it in the chat. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like such a nincompoop. Sorry, everyone.
Stacey, you have no idea. The live streams I've done and watching people like contort to try to figure it out. This is nothing.
I thought maybe,
But if it's going to happen and we're going to have to do it in sign language, you and I would be.
I would do Susan action, because that at least you would understand everything I was doing. I'm walking. I would figure it out.
Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Being actress nominee.
Yes. How exciting.
I know. Now, what were your scenes? What did you submit? This is what we all want to know.
I had a hard time with this. Well,
I figured you would.
I knew that I had some Susan scenes that I really, really liked. And I remember shooting them when she was kidnapped and Xander was going to kill her. And so she pleaded for her life, begged to God that, a miracle would happen. And I just had such a ball shooting those scenes. And so I used that, because I usually don't do both, because I'm always so confused. Do people understand who this character is? Do they even understand that it is me? I mean, I guess if you know the show, they do. But then I also did a couple scenes with Kristen, with Billy Flynn, who, yay, got a nominee for Best Actor. And then I did one with Eric. So I kind of did a little mixture of a storyline with them, and then a mixture of a storyline with Susan in her little.
That's interesting, because in the past we've talked, you didn't feel comfortable submitting Susan, right? So
No.
I'm glad. I'm interesting that you did go that way. You did put some Susan in.
I did. Because I loved these scenes so much. I felt
Why
that
did you love them?
because they were so heartfelt, and I know just shooting them, how just present I was, and just the thought of being, I know this is horrible, but the thought of somebody killing you, and to this innocent, sweet woman who I just adore playing, they were just so still with her trying to be, you know, sweet and comedic, but at the same time honest. And I just really enjoyed those scenes a lot. So I wanted to put those in. Those I knew I wanted to put in. And then I had to kind of go through and go, what other ones to show the Kristen side of it.
And is in the Kristen scenes, is she just flat out? Is she, what happens in those scenes?
Well, I know like the Billy scene, because she kidnapped his wife, and played by amazing Marcy. But I remember I had a ball working with her on those. But the scene was her and Kristen and Chad in, I think they were at the Marlena's office, and he comes in looking for Marlena to talk to her, and she gives him a speech of, you know, you're such an amazing, brother, because you came to Marlena to ask for help. Kristen would never ask for help. And I'm losing my child because of that. So there was that scene, and the scene of her begging Brady, trying to manipulate him into letting her see her daughter, and finding ways, of course, to manipulate that situation.
I don't know how you play these parts, because I'm watching I see so much of how you put into everything. And it's almost like aren't you exhausted after like a day of Kristen or a day of Susan? Or are you exhilarated, or are you, because I watch it and I see how much you pour into it's like it's all through your body. The characters are, the way you are, right?
Yeah, I ground them in the physicality. They both have a very specific way of their physical, how they present themselves. And when I do that, yes, you're right. I do sometimes get exhausted, but sometimes really, really exhilarated by it, because when I know I've connected in a scene, I feel like I've succeeded. Sometimes you're like, I'm lost. I don't even know if this is going to work. And then when you're doing both characters in the same day, sometimes you're just, it's like, okay, whatever will be, will be.
How did you find out you were nominated, and who did you tell?
Well, I woke up this morning having my cup of coffee, and I got a ring, and I was like, I don't want to get out of bed. I love the days when I can just lounge in the morning in my bed and have my coffee. So I finally went, okay, maybe it could be scam likely. And I was like, that was my biggest fear. It's going to be scam likely. And I'm going to go, I should have stayed in bed. But no, I went to the phone, and it was Leah saying, call me ASAP. And so I called her, went to message. I was like, okay, all right, this is all right. And then she called me right back, and then she told me. And then, of course, my husband was up super early, and I went and told him, and he was very excited. And then, of course, my daughter came in and like, oh, yay. my two, fans who just love me.
Did you hear from Eric Martzoff?
Yes, I did later on in the afternoon, and Paul, and yeah, everyone who they just slowly started coming in. So
do you have, over the time, Kristen's done so many horrendous things, or maybe we think it, but she doesn't. Where do you draw do you ever draw the line like, oh, this is way too far?
Sure. I mean, you kind of go, this is way too far, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it the best way I can possibly do it. And I it's not Stacy. And for Stacy, I'll read it as Stacy, and I'm like, oh my God, seriously? No, I don't want her to go bad. But then it's always fun to play bad. So for me, I just try to find what this character, her whole life and her drive, and I try to get into that headspace as the writers write her, and I try to take what they give me and try to embellish and have a good time with that. So
what did you think about the nominees in your category?
Very exciting. Very exciting. I wish I got to see all their scenes. We only get to see the certain ones that we,
Right. What categories did you judge? Don't tell me what you picked, but what categories did you?
I got to do the males this year. Usually I've never in my life of judging, I usually get talk shows, which I'm not about. And I'm like, well, I like this and I like that. And okay, well, that's good. Our news. That's what I've always gotten. So this is my first year to actually get, the male.
When you looked at what you looked at overall, would you say did you think the men's work was good?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, of course what a wonderful question. I thought the men's work was good. And I'll tell you, I'm very pleased, with, because I mean, I only get to see what I get to see unless I watch other shows, but I don't watch a lot and I only get to see, but I'm really, really excited. I'm always excited to see what other actors are doing on other shows. And I was very excited that Peter Bergman was, I love him as well.
I mean, didn't Patty shoot him?
I think she's done a lot to him. That would be a fun one to go to.
I mean, that was an amazing role.
It was so much fun. So much fun.
And why do you think they tap you for these roles, like Patty?
Do they know something I don't?
They know something about you that we don't.
Are they spying?
Are we not aware of what?
I don't know. I think I just have fun playing them. And so maybe they see that. I don't know.
I see you dancing all over.
You can tell me.
I see you dancing all over the internet. And I'm very jealous because I was your dance partner once upon a time. I've not in Vegas.
Yes, it was.
Vegas.
It turned and we twirled.
And we twirled and we have not danced.
I know. We have to dance again. But nobody's having any dance parties. I have to do it in the streets and on balconies in New York City.
You dance on streets.
I do. That's what I have to do. It's going to make me dance. I'm too old to go out anymore party until 12 o'clock at night.
What did you think of this whole Orchid storyline?
Well, I hated that everybody blamed Kristen for it.
Everybody blamed Kristen.
Everybody blames Kristen for everything. I just go along with the story. I guess that there's an orchid that they used back in the day, and that storyline has come into this time. So it was, again, I believe the writers write their stories and they try new things, tried a new this time, and I just try to do the best I can with it. I mean, I enjoyed playing Susan in Heaven, but only for a glimpse because it wasn't really Susan. And I also love the fighting that goes on between Brady and I, and the kind of manipulative things that they both do with each other, and their kind of crazy relationship. I love that.
Now, will you have a speech prepared?
No, because I don't expect anything. No, God, no.
So you would wing it?
Over the years, I've thought about it and thought all these speeches and who now I'm like, if it happens, great. Then I'll try to remember what I, came up with.
And how many, this is your second supporting or
third? Well, Y&R I got for Patty, and then this one, and then the one last year.
That's amazing.
I'm excited. I'm excited about it. What can I say?
What do you want to see happen with Kristen?
Honestly, I would love her to fall in love again, or at least have some sort of, someone that she could fall in love with again, or, whether if it's Brady or if it's somebody else that comes into her world. But then we get to show the love part of, the dynamic where she is also, human, I guess, in some sort of way. I think we see that with her and her daughter a little bit, and a little bit with their brothers to a certain. I mean, it's a screwed up family, and
Well, Amber says Patty, meaning Patty Williams, did a lot.
oh
A
yeah,
lot. And then Dinah says you were great playing crazy. And then Marie says Stacy is awesome.
thank you.
And then Freeman is making sure I knew that it was your third nomination.
Yes, thank you, Freeman. I appreciate that.
And they said, Irene says Stacy has really made Kristen and Susan her own.
Well, I do the best I can, and I love them. I love them. I love them both.
And was that daunting to take that over?
Sure it was. Sure it was. Absolutely. I mean, if I hadn't done it on Y&R, yeah, I could have probably jumped in, but I knew that I can tap into one of these personalities I have inside me and they'll come out. Yeah, it was daunting. It was a big step because I knew I was filling somebody else's shoes who had a huge, fan base, and that's scary. And I love Eileen, and so jumping over there was like, okay, all I could think of is I'm scared, and it was like, get your crap together, Haiduk, and get in there and just do it. And that's kind of how I created.
Yeah, how you did it. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to talk myself. It's like, I thought of Rocky every day. Like, you can do this, you can do this. You're punched in the face 20 times. I just had to keep pumping myself up because I get insecure. Are you kidding me?
Well, I think this is great. Congratulations, Stacy.
Thank you so
So
much.
happy for you. It's wonderful to see you.
It's wonderful to see you, and hopefully I'll get to talk to you on the carpet or
yes.
somewhere else.
And then we're gonna go dance on the street.
And dance on the street. I'm going to take you up on that.
You better.
Okay, this is what's going to happen.
You hear
Whatever
this first
happened,
here.
this is it.
Win, lose, or draw. This is what's gonna happen.
We are going to happen, and I'm going to pull you aside, and we're going to dance. I'm
Okay.
going to throw some music on if I have to sing some horrible song.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. Have a good night.
I love you. Thank you
Love you.
so
Bye.
much.
Thank you for coming
Bye.
back. Bye.
Thank you. You can kick me off because I don't know how to get off either.
You gotta look for the egg, the end.
Leave-
The end
I'm
end
leaving.
button. Bye.
Okay, I'm leaving.
You gotta hit end. Okay, she's trapped. All right. Jason Thompson is coming on with us, lead actor nominee. Any minute here.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Oh, you're in the car.
I'm in the car. Yeah.
You're always in the car when I talk to you.
I was feeling this morning. I'm like, why am I always in transit when Michael and I are going to have a conversation about something as fun as this? But the truth is, it just happens that way. Yeah.
It's not a dad thing. It's just you in the car.
No, I've got my friend Carrie, Amber, and Jen. We're all going up to Santa Barbara to go see a show at the Santa Barbara Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
They're in the car with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Well,
bring friends with me wherever I go too, Michael. They wanted to meet you. So I was like, hey, look it. This is how we do it.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, first of all, congratulations on this nomination. I called this, as I told you. I'm really glad. And I want to know, first of all, what scenes did you submit? I'm assuming the Chelsea scenes.
Yeah, it was a combination of the Chelsea thing. First of all, thank you very much. This is one of those things that I strive to be a part of every single year. Your Emmy roundup, I always feel like I'm on the right path if I'm a part of this conversation. So thank you for that.
Of course.
Yeah, so it was about two days, let's say, two episodes or whatever. Intercut me finding Chelsea up on the roof, a couple scenes up on the ledge, and then in the hotel room after, where we went to kind of get her safe and sound. Yeah, and it was really kind of enjoyable. to watch those scenes in their entirety, because I hadn't seen them. I watched kind of pieces of them after we finished them and after they aired. So it was when I was going through my reel, I sat there and watched these 2 episodes, and it was I mean, Missy was incredible, and I was just very. It brought me back to a place where I was there, and I just remember how focused and how important everybody felt that the storyline was when we were making it, and to see it all finished like that, and to watch its entirety, like that, probably 3 hours of time, let's say, from when Billy finds her up there to getting her down, to going back to the hotel room, to getting her to get to sleep, to Sharon coming, all that stuff. It was yeah, I really enjoyed seeing it all play out, and I hadn't seen it like that until I watched this and put this together. So it was
It told an
yeah.
arc. You had an arc. You know what I mean? It has an arc of this to that, right?
Yeah, and just like a really important story, you
Right.
know, and you don't always get to be a part of those. They don't always happen that way, but it felt very timely. Difficult and challenging, which is a really nice way to work when you do feel challenged, and you know, when you feel like you have a certain sense of responsibility to do right by the story, to do right by the writers, and Josh and the team worked really hard to get this right. So you can't help but kind of come to the plate ready to go, and that's how it felt.
And was there? You said after the. Was there other scenes in your reel other than the suicide story? Or was
No, that was it. It was just that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was so masterful because, like I told you, it was like anybody that would potentially go through that scenario or has been through that, you portrayed the person like, what do I do? What do I do? You know, you're put in that position. And I felt every beat of that through your performance. And that's why I felt so strong. It just gutted me, because you just felt like he doesn't know what to do. He's doing his best. He doesn't want her to die. And it was so effective, right? It was between you and Missy. It was so effective.
Well, you know, you really need someone to go there and to really embrace all of it, all the pain, all the hurt, all the kind of the history and the presence of the moment. And Missy really was there. I'm so happy for her, because she really put the work in for this storyline. And you need that to, you know, I had a pretty easy job. I just had to kind of be there with her and be present to everything. Although counter to that, that's sometimes the hardest thing to do, is to just be there and try and be supportive and try and find ways into the person. That's what I felt like I was doing. I was trying to find ways into her in order to let her know that, you know, I'm here not just as some sort of placeholder or something like that. Like, I hear you, I see you, I'm here for you. And those moments are sometimes difficult to find, because sometimes you just want to overact them. Sometimes you want to you want to make it bigger or more profound. And sometimes the most difficult work is just the quiet work, and allowing it just to sit there and trust the audience as the collective story that is coming to this moment. And sometimes that moment, just they need to feel it. You don't have to tell them how to feel. The audience feels all of that weight if you just give it room to sit there. And you know, that's what I think Missy, I mean, Missy did a wonderful job of that, but a lot of that was you know, Steven, our director, did a really great job on that episode, and very, very happy for it.
Well, Yankee 9140 says, I would love to see Jason finally have his in-person moment to receive an Emmy on stage and to become a 2-time winner. So he's referring to the fact that when Jason won, it was during COVID, right? And you were home.
It was COVID. Yeah, I was home sitting in our rental house at the time, and sitting at the table. The kids were watching cartoons, and oh, what a trip that was. But
and you're like, wait, I brought this with my Emmy.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing to take away from that is just you go through life. So much of life is you have these ideas of how things are going to be, and you work really hard. And I am, one of those people that have practiced that speech since I was a kid, or as soon as you allow yourself to dream of that moment that you could possibly have, you start to think of what it could be like. And it was pretty much the exact opposite of what I ever thought that moment would be. But what I took from that is just like, you don't know exactly how things are going to show up. And you go along for the ride. And I tell you what, that memory of that night with my family, and that's it. And then just walking around the living room, like, having conversations with people and not really being able to celebrate, but then, walking up after coming home from school, I think it was, if there's a box on the step and like your Emmys there. And it was all different, but nonetheless, just as memorable and just as exciting.
I mean, it was great because I can't remember, we talked afterwards. You went outside and I talked to you and I was like, I can't believe we weren't there at a place together. It was the next best thing. It was great. It was great. It was great. Yeah. So what do you think about the men nominated in your category?
Well, I think it's fantastic. I mean, it's so many, I was thinking about it. Billy, I'm a big fan. I've watched him from a distance for a while. We might have met at some point. I know Galen's on that show. He speaks highly of Billy. I know they're good buddies. I've watched him work. Obviously, you get to see people's work when you're doing these Emmy nominations and you see their tapes. He's a wonderful guy. I'm really stoked to be there with him. Thorsten is fantastic dude. We shoot in the same studio, so we get to see each other a lot. We joke around, we talk hockey. Wonderful guy. That year that I won, he sent me a text. He said, "I hate losing, but if I was going to lose, at least it was to you." So he's one of those very charismatic, fun guy to be around. Fantastic, consistent actor. Always looks in control. I love what he does. And then you got Maurice, who, I felt like I was a baby when I started working on General Hospital, and he was the guy. He was the one that you looked up to. He was the one that you wanted to work with. He was the one that, would speak to you about the craft and about what it really means to do this work effectively. And, one of my dear friends, and what he's continued to do for people is astonishing with his platform. And, and then you got Peter, who does feel like a big brother. He's profoundly articulate about life, about family, about the work, about, caring. He's the first one there, dressed up, ready to go, knows his stuff, total pro. We talk about life. He gives me advice about, kids and whether it's finances or what should I do here. Like, we have those kind of conversations. So I'm just surrounded by incredible people and very, very fortunate to be in this category, people that have really had an impact on my life and where I am at this point in my career. And they've also given me that path to continue to follow because they've been doing it for a long time and they have faith in this genre. They love daytime. They love the process, the work, and it just makes me really, really excited to, to have a month or two of just kind of swimming in this pool with them. It's
such a great group. It's a great group. It's like a creme de la creme. It's like a great group.
It's a great group. Yeah,
it's a great group.
Very,
You're going to
very
be nominated.
fortunate.
It's a great group. Sherry says, "Congrats, Jason. Been a fan since GH and Night Shift, and now on YNR. Your beautiful scenes with Missy. You are my all-time man crush. Sending you love from Vegas."
Vegas. I haven't been out there for a while.
And everybody's saying great scenes with Melissa. So they all agree. I think I lost.
Yeah, no, it was it was great. It was really, really great. All those scenes were fantastic.
Well, I'm going to let you go because I know you got a thing to do. And thank you so much. I didn't want this to go by without getting to see you and to tell you how great it is that you're nominated for this particular work. And I'll see you soon, for sure.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for having us again. I say it all the time, but thanks for everything you do for this genre and everything. I appreciate it, man. I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Jason Thompson, ladies and gentlemen. And now Kevin Spirit is with us in a moment. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Can you see me?
Yes, can you see me?
You are Michael. Hi, man.
Hi, how are you? Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Can't believe it. Well,
So you're nominated for guest performer,
yes, I am.
and you gave it was such a complex story to play. For those that, well, most people know that Craig came back to town, and we found out that he was gay, and
He came back.
yeah,
Came out.
he left. Then he left. He came, he saw.
I don't know if that would have been the order I would have preferred.
I know.
I was happy to be there. It was really great.
What scenes did you submit to get you the nomination?
I wanted to keep it brief because it's
Hard to watch tape of 30 minutes.
no. I think in all honesty and fairness, most soap scenes are repetitive because they're recapping and recapping. And I think the best ones that I had that I felt were able to outline what was going on were the ones that I was caught doing something, and then I didn't have to recap that until the third or fourth scene after that. But Chloe comes outside and hears me talking to Leo, but she doesn't know it's Leo. And she says, "Dad, you just lied to Mom. You're having an affair. I can tell by the way you're talking." And I go, "I'm not having an affair." She goes, anyway, that was a lie. What else did I do? There was a couple of scenes. There was one in the town square, was it the Salem Square, where one of the boys was possessed by the devil, and he has his shirt off, and he makes me put my hand on his chest to check his pectoral, and Chloe catches me, and I'm just sort of is it Johnny DeMere? Is that the boy? Okay.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny DeMere, Carson Boatman. Right?
Yeah. I say. So anyway, that was the one scene where she says, "Dad, why are you even out here, carrying on like this?" I said, "I'm not carrying on. And listen, I'm not going to apologize for something I stuffed down and held down for years and years and years. I'm sorry that this is the way it is, but that was not my choice, and I'm not going to apologize for the choices I have now." So there's a confrontation with her, and there's one with Nancy, and she just lets me have it. And I tell her I can't change. I can't change my mind. Two more scenes. There's two more scenes. Oh, there's three.
Was there a scene with Lee when you found out about Leo?
Well, Leo, just at the tail end of the wedding, I go, "When did you know?" And he says, "What? When did you know you loved me?" And he has to sort of tap dance for a minute, and I walk away completely humiliated, and I give him his other wedding papers to Cox. What's her name? Anyway, it's so long ago. It's like a year and a half ago.
Jackie Cox. Jackie Cox.
Jackie Cox. And then
That sounds like Jackie Cox.
Just anyone who's watching know that I can learn my lines. I can spit them
He
out.
knows his lines. He just doesn't remember the story.
And then there was a scene with Nadia, again, Chloe, where she comes in and I say, "You got what you wanted. I didn't get married, and you got your wish." And I was a complete laughing stock. And I sit on the bed and I just break down in her arms. And I think that was probably one of the nicest scenes that was ever I had written in a scene with Craig. And Nadia's scenes, Chloe's scenes were actually really, really tight. They were really good. For some reason, they threw all the emotional stuff with her. So I didn't go with Nancy that way for some reason. Then I kicked Leo out, and I say to him, I think the one thing that I really love was No, I'm not going back to Nancy, but I'm not going back to you either. But because of you, I can live a happy life. Thank you. Kick him out. And then there's one with Nancy, and I say, she's like, it's the day after the wedding, and I say, wasn't there something you said about a date? And thank you for your support through all this. And she goes, aren't we a pair? And I reach over and I grab her hand. So sweet.
And,
Yes.
Yeah. And
I acted them just like I did just now.
Great. I was gonna say though, this was an important storyline for you to get to do, right? Like to have, because this hadn't been done. I mean, because you had your own series after Forever.
Yeah,
that was so well done, and then to put it on a show, a streaming show, or NBC, whatever it was at the time, it was important, right?
Thank you. I think it was important. I don't know which came first, which chicken or which egg came first. I know that my late collaborator Michael Slade and I wrote After Forever season 1, 2, and 3. 3 is out due toward the end of the year. But I have a sneaking suspicion that they might have seen me up on stage acknowledging all this work that we had done at the Emmys in 2019. And I tell this to Ron all the time, and Michael was there. Sadly, he's not here to confirm it, but we were over at the bar, like backstage or something, and Ron Calabardi came up to me and said, congratulations, you guys did a wonderful job with your series. I'm very proud of you. Congratulations. Then he took off, and Michael came up just after he left and said, was that Ron? I said, yeah. I'm going to go back on Days of Our Lives, and they're going to bring my character out of the closet. Just like that. Michael said, they will never do that.
Wait, he said that, or you said that?
No, Ron, I said to Michael, I just heard it in my head. It was just his voice. And I just went, that's what's going to happen. And it did. And when they called and offered, for me to come back, I was, okay. Am I going to come out of the closet yet? And they just said, what? How'd you know?
How was working with Greg Rickard?
Oh my God. He is quick, funny, smart, fast on his toes, and then just very calm. And I only really got 3 months of him, and not even a lot because we were all separated from the pandemic rules and regulations. So we didn't get to audit, we didn't get to rehearse, we didn't get to run lines, we didn't get to hang on the set the way we used to. And that was a challenge. That was a challenge for me. I really, I had to really give into the new and the, just the ethics of staying completely safe. So I like him. If they brought me back to work with Rickard again, I would say yes.
You would do it.
I would do it.
Okay, so
I would.
So the whole journey, was Patrika and you like good with the story? Because it kind of was like, how do we make this work when they were this and now we're this?
Yeah, that's yeah, I think it was an honest story. I think it was. And the way that scene in Horton Square, I say to Chloe, this is something I suppressed and pushed down. I tell it to Nancy at one point too. And it was something that was really, it was spoken twice. So it had to be an important part of the telling of the story. I think what he said, I did have experiences with men when I grew up, when I was younger, but that's not the kind of life I wanted to live. And I think that was a really safe way to move out of that, because I do know a lot of men who have done that, And then Nancy yells at me or shouts at me, you had that knowledge, but you failed to tell me. So, and I can see that the wife would be always like, poor me. But it takes time. It takes time to come full circle. And I think we all make choices in our lives, and we all follow what we think is right in our heart at the time. It's not always right for everyone else.
Well, and also I think these soap operas that these traditional soap operas, especially Days, has been a little bit more forward leaning into showing gay character and just kind of keeping things a little more evolving in that regard, because there still aren't that many gay characters on soap operas. I mean, and
No,
some
they're not.
don't, and some don't have any storyline.
Yeah, I'm so not in the loop these days because I wasn't there that long, and I'm working on other things trying to get my hustle going so I don't turn on the TV to see what's going on. But I do know there's the occasional token gay person, gay couple, and then they're utilized for a moment. And I wish, and maybe it will happen, I don't know, I wish that they would have not just sent Craig off. I would like to see how Craig now can live and heal that part of his life, heal the other situations that he kind of wrecked by coming clean with his truth. And I think that's an honorable way to take that choice. I'm not saying that they can't do it, and maybe they had a reason not to at this time. You know.
Well, what I remember is all of a sudden Craig was the murder suspect. And I remember going, wait, we've gone from this to this. I'm like,
come on, we have to have a soap opera for a second.
I was like, wait a minute, now he's murdered Abigail. Or it's like, wait, I don't even understand.
I never liked her. I never
liked that Abigail. And then and then the whole Clyde thing, was it the cologne? Was there a cologne part of it? It was Clyde, it was new, it was something. It was
I wasn't there that day. They shot
you were there.
It was great being back. I will say that. And they brought Rourke back for a second. They brought Crisula back, and I was like, dude, where are you? What's going on? And we just caught up for a second. And a lot of people were very, very welcoming and very proud that I had done After Forever, and they found their way to get to me and thank me and Michael for having created something so special and such a journey that's not ever really mapped out for anybody. And you were there that great night. May 5th, 2019.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for coming on and chatting, and congratulations.
Thank you. I'm stoked. I really am. And thank you for your support.
Of course. And I'll see you soon.
You better.
All right.
Bye, Michael.
Bye. Kevin Spiritus, everybody. So good to see you, Kevin. Bye. And now Michelle Stafford is joining us, lead actress nominee. In just a moment. Hello.
Hello. How are you? Did I do it right?
You look amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. You can see me. You can hear me.
I see you and I hear you.
Great.
And you look great. Can you hear me?
Thanks. Yes. And I can see you.
Yes. It's so nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming by. I was so happy to see your name in the 5 ladies.
It was so amazing. I mean, it's such a great group of gals too.
It's like a creme de la creme great group. It's pretty great. And your buddy Finola Hughes, who was on earlier, she said you guys are going to go look for dresses together.
Oh, we are? Well, we're definitely going together.
You're right. She said you were talking about going as each other's date.
Yes.
And then there may be some shopping involved, maybe.
Great. I mean, I'm in. Are you kidding? I was going to do that with Sharon too.
Oh, Sharon too. Sharon was like, she has to find a dress.
Yeah, Sharon too. So maybe the 3 of us, because Finola and Sharon don't really know each other, and they should.
They should. So you'll put them together. So tell me about the reel that you put together that won you the nomination. What scenes did you choose?
It's funny because all year I didn't really have one show, right? I mean, I was just I was playing, but Phyllis was just sort of losing her mind over Diane all year, pretty much. And so I looked at, I didn't really have a show, you know, like back in the day, right? It used to be a show or two shows. And that's kind of how they used to write daytime as well. And they just don't anymore. Like it's so rare that you get it. Like sometimes people get that. Some people have it this year, but you don't always get that. But you're driving a storyline. And I mean, you know me, I don't submit if I don't feel like I should, you know, like
You'll stay out of the game unless you feel.
Yeah, you know, like if I don't have anything that I feel is good, that I don't submit. And I'm fine with that. But so I put together something. I put together sort of a story of exactly what the year was. And so it was like from, I think, 4 different shows.
And is it like, does she go on is there like different levels in the
Well,
scene?
I mean, I started with the show that I had with Josh, where I just Josh Morrow, where Phyllis just says, I'm about to lose my mind. I'm unraveling and I'm nervous. And then we see her unravel with a couple scenes or a show that I had with with Mel and Eileen, which was really for me the highlight of my year, to work with the two of them. I don't know how well received it was, and it doesn't even matter to me, because it was really like, I loved working with Mel and Eileen. I got to know them so much better, and because I just never worked closely, and we would go into Mel's room, and it was just so much fun. And so I have something with them where Phyllis is losing her mind, and then a show with Peter where Phyllis really loses her mind, and he loses his mind back. And then I had this like sweet show kind of at the end of the year with Summer, Phyllis and Summer, and Phyllis has this moment. I remember reading it and I'm like, oh, this is loaded. And it was, Summer's talking and Phyllis says, I'm losing you.
Here you go. Yeah.
I'm such an idiot. You guys, I hope, is this live? Oh, good
Yes,
God.
we're
I'm a
live.
projectile crier, folks. I'm really sorry. It's embarrassing. It embarrasses me, but I'm a projectile crier. I'm also an inappropriate crier. I don't cry when you should. Yeah, like when it should. I'm walking down a hall and somebody says something and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm trying to hold myself together. That's me. So anyway, yeah. And I just felt like, oh God. And at that moment, I thought this is very, very important for the character, because this is what she fears. This is what she fears the most, losing her daughter. Really what she fears the most.
Well, I have to just tell you on a side note, the performances that are airing currently with Jeremy Stark and everything that happened, I cannot tell you, I should show you the comments on my site. People you're just blowing everybody away again with your performances.
That's really nice.
You've been so incredible in that. So incredible in that story arc. And I was talking to another actress, I'm trying to remember who was about Michelle Stafford, like from another show, knowing like how great you are in this current story.
Oh, so that's so nice. Wow.
Everybody's just kind of like, we love seeing the way Phyllis is in those scenarios, and you're showing it, you know, and you expose her, you're not afraid to like mess her up, you know, like she gets kind of gritty and messy, and then we're rooting for her, and
she's very messy, you know.
It's great.
She's very messy. She's a messy character. She's a messy gal, and she's not necessarily the nicest person.
She's not.
No, and you know, like I'm cool. Like it doesn't. I don't ever desire to be liked. It's not a desire of mine when I play a character. You know, I desire to be understood. But if if the character is not understood, that's my fault. It's not the audience's fault. you
Like,
know.
I think Sherry says, congrats, Michelle, so well deserved. And I hope you submit next year too. Your scenes this year have been exclamation points exceptional.
That's really nice. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
This one,
Thank
Amber
you.
says,
I
I
really-
love all the Phyllis and Summer scenes.
Oh my
See?
gosh. Thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. The stuff that we're doing now is very dysfunctional.
Yes, it is.
And I love it. I love it so much. I love it so much.
So
Oh my gosh.
you've won 2 Daytime Emmys previously.
Yeah.
So what would this win mean, like this point in your career? You got 2.
Oh, I mean, listen, all of it is icing on the cake. I don't want to appear like a Girl Scout. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
but I really, I'm no offense to Girl Scouts, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't want, it really is icing on the, and I can say with all honesty, and I don't think I've ever felt this way before. With all honesty, I would be as happy for whoever won in the category as I would be myself. I really am just so honored to be acknowledged. Oh man, it's been a tough 3 years, you know, like for everyone, but it's been a tough 3 years. And an acknowledgement is really nice. Like I didn't do well. Some people were okay working the way we worked. It didn't aid me to stand there and have like a measuring tape. I understand all the reasons. I get it. It's what we had to do. I totally get it. I'm not opposed to any of that, but it was hard for me. You know, when we came back to work, Phyllis and Nick were together, and it was very odd to play that coupling 6 feet apart. You know, that was a couple that was like this. And it was challenging. The whole thing was challenging. And yeah, everybody has, but I just was kind of looking around like, can you guys do this? Like, because I can't, this is hard for me. It was hard for me.
I don't even know how you guys did it, because and the hardest thing was when COVID was, everything was happening, and daytime soaps there's intimate scenes, there's closeness, there's, how do you tell, this between a couple, and like, how are they going to do this? And I remember, I don't know if it was Bold and Beautiful or Days, one of the shows, I remember watching everybody was so far apart, and I was like, this looks ridiculous. Like, this looks ridiculous. I mean,
right. It's so odd, but
they did it. They made it happen.
Right.
They made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So who is the first person you told you were nominated that didn't know?
Didn't know?
Your kids?
My kids didn't.
Does Jameson not care?
I mean,
what's with Jameson?
How it is. That's how it is, Michael. Well, Jameson didn't know. He doesn't know what it means. But Natalia, it's challenging being a parent. Who's the first person I told?
I just want to say the funniest thing there was an Instagram that you did, and you're sitting in the car, and you were picking her up or something, and it was such a funny commentary, but so true for any mom with this age. How old's your daughter now? She's
13.
13. With a 13-year-old, and you're the mom in the car picking her up or whatever it was. It was so funny, but so real. Right?
Yeah, it's real. That's for sure. Oh my God, it's real.
So who did you tell? I'm nominated.
I can't remember who I told who didn't know. I can't remember, but I was so excited to see Sharon on the list. And so I was on the phone. Is a friend of mine who's in magazines in New York sent me something saying congratulations, and I was like, what is this? And then I looked, so I didn't know what it was. I didn't know they were coming out that day. I didn't know, and I didn't really get it. And I texted. I said, what is this? And she said, "You're nominated for an Emmy." And I didn't know if it was real, right? Because I didn't know that was happening. So, and then I was so excited to see Sharon's name. And then I called Sharon after I got off the phone.
Sharon was just here a little while ago. It was so great. I mean, it's such an emotional ride for her, you know, to finally get this nomination. And I mean, the two of you now are nominated together, which is, has that
Right.
happened before?
That she and I were nominated
In the
together?
same category?
No, never.
No.
Mm-mm. No, because when I came on, I was over 25 and she was under 25, and that was it. So she was always in younger and I was in supporting. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So it's, and same with Vanola. Like, we've never even been nominated the same year in any category together. And so to be in the same category is really cool. I mean, we all feel the same way. We're all like, this is like such a fun group of gals.
It will be a fun ride for the next couple months. I was going to say, Finola related the story about when she first met you, you showed her your Emmy reel, and she.
Well, we had been working on Pacific Palisades, and so I wanted her opinion of my Emmy reel because I was newly off the show. So it wasn't like the first day I met her. Anyway, no, I showed it to her and got her approval. Look at that. It's so funny.
Said it was perfect. She said the reel was great.
Listen, she came over. That's very nice of her, by the way. She came over like 6 weeks ago. We were talking about this. I said, because I knew that she had that great show, because she told me about the great show where she's letting Peter die. Oh my gosh. So great.
It's great.
I haven't seen it,
Oh.
but she told me, I said, "Oh my God, this is amazing." And yeah, so yeah, I mean, everybody has amazing work. Sharon's work, it was so organic. It was so incredible. And Missy, of course, just so beautiful. Just so beautiful.
And
yeah.
Jason.
And I don't know Jackie. I don't know what she had. So, but she's always amazing. So it's like everybody is I'm honored to be in the group, you know.
And Peter Bergman's nominated, and Jason.
Yeah.
What can you say about working with Peter all these years? I mean, he's just the consummate pro, right? Is he truly the consummate pro?
Yeah, of course he is. Yes. And it's just, you know, it's fun. You know, it's fun. I love it when Phyllis, he just really evokes a lot of emotion from me. And but it is Phyllis and Jack when we work. It's not Peter and Michelle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I just feel so comfortable. It's really us. It's not us, because he's not like Jack and I'm not like Phyllis. So it really is like we do connect as characters.
Did you ever figure out now, all these years later, why you're so good at playing Phyllis, why you tap into her so well?
Oh, I don't know if I am, like the two other actresses, Gina and Sandra, were amazing at playing Phyllis as well. It's like, it's a great role, right? And for someone who wants to be like, I don't know how great I am at it, but I know it takes a lot of work for me. I'm not innately like that. And so it's written like that a lot. So I don't know, Michael. I don't know. I fear that I might sound actory, and that's all weird, right? But I don't know if I'm that good. I just I like, I like acting. And we're kind of going into a new realm of Phyllis right now. And I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm really interested because I think there's other things that I'm going to get to play,
Right. Will you have a speech prepared in case you win?
Oh, I'm certain I won't, and it's okay. Like, it doesn't, like I used to, like I would know when I would, like, I'm like, I got a killer. And it's not that I don't think, but but I'm whatever. No is the answer to that.
No.
I don't want to like degrade myself by going, oh, I'm, I don't want to do that. But I'm really pulling for other people.
It is so great to see you. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, and congratulations. And I could talk to you for hours. So
yeah, I know. It's really great to see you,
really
and
great to see you.
I'll see you at the show, right?
the
Or
Emmys.
before that, hopefully.
We'll see each other hopefully before that. Enjoy this next 6 weeks with the
Is it
gal.
6 weeks?
Where are we? April?
Is it
June?
Damn, it's only 6.
Not that big.
Yeah,
Not a big
ish.
time.
You're right.
Ish.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's gonna go by so quick.
Yeah.
All right. Mwah. Have a good
Mwah.
one. Thanks, guys, for
Bye.
tuning in.
Thank you, Michelle.
All right,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.
Michelle Stafford, everybody. Thank you, Michelle. And now Kelly Thiebaud is coming on with us in a moment.
Hi.
Hi.
Look at your backdrop. I love it. Wow.
It's Emmy Schmemmy.
It's so professional.
Professional. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm a little tired, but I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm tired. Today's always the busiest day of the year for me, with prepping the nominations and then getting the show ready every year. It's just it moves so fast. The day goes so fast because I'm working on scheduling this show.
Yeah.
Which happens literally the same day as the nominations come out. So it's like trying to put that all together. But it's an annual tradition now, so I don't want to like break tradition.
Yeah. Don't drop the ball.
Don't drop the ball. Well, congratulations. This is wonderful. You're the defending champ in this category. And
oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
So tell everybody that's with us tonight, what scenes did you submit? Do you know?
I told myself to rewatch my reel before we got on here so I could remember what scenes I submitted, and I forgot.
It had to do the Huntingtons, right?
I did the scene. I opened the reel with the scene with my mom where I tell her that I just had the meeting with the doctor and I'm in stage 3, I believe. And we have this whole scene and she's like, well, we're going to find a doctor. We're going to find a specialist. We're going to fix this. And I'm like, I don't need you to be a doctor. I just need you to be my mom. So that scene. And then I did another scene with my mom where it was right before the party and we had that heartfelt moment where I was in a robe and just telling her how much I loved her and how grateful I am that she's my mom. And then I had a scene with Austin where I'm kind of talking about like how I'm going to throw this party and I just want to lose myself on the dance floor and all this stuff. And then can't remember what else.
Going into didn't you do something after the Cody flew into the pool or drinking? Is that in there?
I know I thought about it, but maybe I didn't. No, I didn't do that.
Okay.
No, there is another scene. I can't remember what it is though. I've had some champagne.
Well,
And also I've had some champagne and also like I flew into New York yesterday. So
you're all screwed up time-wise.
I'm all screwed up time-wise. I'm supposed to be in London. My body's like, where are we? What's going on? So yes.
So what did you see the other nominees in your category?
I did, yeah. Sonia.
Yeah. Sonia. And I wanted to talk to you about that. I thought that was so touching that she was nominated.
Yeah, it's very, very special.
What can you say about when you did scenes with Sonia and working with her?
I loved Sonia. I mean, everyone has nothing but nice, lovely things to say about her because she really was like, and when you worked with her, she was just present. She was present with you. She always wanted to do her best and she had just so much life and laughter and I just loved her so much. I think it's really special that she's nominated. I wish she was here to be able to see this moment, for her, because that's really, really special. But I hope she's receiving all of our love, and the people who voted for her, all of that love. So.
And then, of course, you know, when Nika Garland passed away, I'm sure you knew Nika very well. That was very hard too. It was such a 1-2 kind of thing.
Yeah, it's also really weird. I was thinking about that today because Nika was so involved with the Emmys and putting the reels together. And there was a moment today where I was like, I would have heard from her. She would have texted me saying, congratulations. We would have received an email from her. I spoke to her, you know, weeks ago about my Emmy reel. And so it's just all really weird that this is going on and she's not a part of it. And I can only imagine how difficult it is for GH to continue on losing her, because she was just the backbone of our show and she did so much. So it's really, really sad.
It is really sad. I always, as I've said on other things, like Nika and I would talk all the time during Emmy time and other times. And it's weird not having her as the person we talk to about this all the time.
It doesn't feel real. It really doesn't.
It doesn't really feel real. Who did you hear from today when they found out, or did you get any text messages or calls from anybody? Or
Yeah. I knew today was coming, but today I forgot about it. So I'm in New York City, and I was riding a bike through Central Park going to visit my girlfriend, and I'm just like, this is amazing. And I needed to look at my phone to figure out where I was going on my maps. And I pull out my phone and I see all these messages, and I was like, oh shit, the Emmy nominations came out today. So I pull my bike over, I check one of my messages from someone from my hometown in Texas, and she's like, you were nominated. I was like, oh my God, I started screaming. But I heard from Maura. Maura West sent me the most amazing text message. Sorry, I have my retainers in. If you can, hopefully you can understand me. And then one of our directors, Allison, she sent me a really beautiful text message. And one of our producers, MK, sent me a text message. And the lovely woman who did my makeup on the show sent me a text message. Cameron Matheson sent me something on Instagram. So it's been really sweet.
And interesting enough, you're nominated and Steve Burton is nominated for Beyond Salem.
Oh, I love that.
So he's nominated in the guest performer category.
Yeah.
And you're in supporting. So I thought,
Steve.
Yeah. So now is finding something to wear something fun, or do you care?
Oh, it's going to be so much fun, because last year I was nervous, but I also wore something that was kind of different and edgy and a little bit exposing, so I'm like, I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to take it a notch. And I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be awesome. And also my boyfriend, because I obviously called him, and he was the first person that I called, and he was like, oh, this is great. You can look for a dress in London and you don't have to compete with other people who are also trying to find dresses for the same event. So I can find something that's really
unique. That's true.
Good idea.
Your boyfriend.
He's smart.
He's very smart. He's very smart. So would you, now last year when you won, did you have a speech prepared at all? Because I know you were totally shocked.
Yeah, I was totally shocked. Yes, obviously I was totally shocked.
Will you, now knowing what you know from last year, will it prepare you better for this year?
I don't think I'm going to do a speech, only because I want it to just be as raw and messy and authentic as possible. What I will try to do is take a breath and breathe and just take a moment before I start speaking and just kind of collect myself for a second if I can. It's all very overwhelming when it happens. And I was shaking and sweating and I didn't know what to say. And so I hope if it does happen for me again this year, I hope I do a little bit better of a job, but I don't want to write a speech. I don't know. I don't want to write a speech.
I think that's the way to go. I mean, I was talking about some people that do write it down on a piece of paper and they take it out. I don't know if I'm for that, but I guess if you can't remember, you want to make sure you don't forget.
Yeah.
But
I know.
I would not. I would go up and just say what is coming
Yeah,
out.
you just vomit whatever comes
I would
out.
just vomit what comes out.
Doesn't make sense, and you miss a lot of people. Like I had notes of like, kind of things that I wanted to say in my head, and I didn't just say any of those things. And like, I didn't thank like Steve and Laura and like all the amazing people that I worked with, and Frank, and like all the people at General Hospital and the writers. Like, I didn't specifically thank them. I will do that this year if it happens.
So Cass Marie says, congratulations, Kelly. You had some of the most heartfelt scenes sharing your story about your sickness. I'm assuming this means Huntington's. Such a flawless performance. You did exceptional work that deeply moved me to tears.
Oh, wow. That's such a kind thing to say. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And Freeman says her reel is fantastic. I think she will likely win a second year in a row. So
oh my gosh. Thank you. It's so, interesting. I guess in some weird way, this nomination for some reason kind of means more to me than the first one. And I don't really know why, because the first one was incredible, but there's something about like getting nominated again. You're like, oh, that wasn't a fluke, like the first one wasn't a fluke. Like there's something cool about that. I don't know. Strange.
Does this make you miss being on the show, or does it make you just feel great?
For sure.
Yeah.
Both. I miss being on the show. I miss playing Brit. I miss working with all the people and seeing the crew and everyone. Yeah, I mean, it's always bittersweet.
I guess she has a twin somewhere, maybe.
Maybe.
maybe. I don't know.
Maybe she's blonde.
So when you look back at this time, now this would be a great button for your time on General Hospital to win the Emmy, to make this would be like the full circle, I think. Last year, we were just so thrilled.
Yeah.
Such a moment.
Yeah.
And now you've left the show. So I feel like this would be such a great button for you on it,
I mean, it all just means so much to me. It really does. Like, I'm shocked. I'm so excited. All day I was just beaming and smiling and just, I don't know. It feels really special, even though it's silly. At the end of the day, it's silly. It's a trophy, and we're not saving lives or anything, but to have people like recognize your work and all the effort that
your work. Yeah.
that you put in, it's like, it's really cool and it feels really good. And yeah, so
I've had actors and actresses on tonight who've been doing it for decades, and they're saying the same thing. Years later, it feels so great to be acknowledged, because it is hard to do some of the kind of work you guys do day in and day out in these roles. And I think a lot of times it's not recognized.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always doing this or pushing it along, because I do recognize the art form of this genre, and also how difficult it is to be in it because of the pace, because of all of that. So I kind of feel like even these people that have been around for a long time feel it is a very special thing.
It is so special. Yeah. And I'm glad that you do this. I think it's really cool, and it makes us feel special, and it's part of the celebration of the day.
Right. I want it to be part of the celebration of the day. Let's honor you guys, and how can we do it? Now, this was very different before COVID. I would go into the radio studio. We went to Rick D's, and we did it on a podcast.
Oh, cool.
But once we did it this way, now because everybody's doing virtual, it's even a little better, because you actually see the people instead of just hearing it. So I kind of went from doing that to the virtual thing. So I did that for like 5 years before the last 3 doing this. So yeah.
You're a go-getter, Michael.
I am. I don't know. I you tell me no and I'll go, really? Like I don't, you know what I mean? I don't love being told no.
I'm the same.
I'm like, it kind of gets me like more revved up. Like you're motivated. Like, oh, really? you know, so then I try to do it. And I try to be like a one-man band and things, because I think like sometimes you have to be your own one-man band
Yeah.
and to support, tout yourself and show
Yeah.
what you can do. Unfortunately, you know, nobody handed it to me. And what I appreciate about you is you're a grinder. You grind it out. You'll go on the auditions, you grind it out, you grind it out. I appreciate the people that grind it out, is what that's just,
Yeah, I do too.
you know.
Yeah.
All right. So good to see you. I wish I could have a glass of champagne with you, but we'll do it at the Emmys.
I know. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're going.
Well, you're going as a nominee.
I know, but I can't believe we're going to be there again together.
That's what's so exciting. Like I was like, oh great, we can have a redo.
So fun. So fun.
Fun.
Thank you for your support and everything. It means the world to me.
Love you, and I will see you in like 6 weeks.
Yes. With the sparkly dress on.
Sparkly dress that you choose in London.
Yes. Have a good night. Love you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Kelly.
Bye.
Bye. Kelly Thiebaud, everybody. We're just waiting for our next guest. I was going to say, you guys, thank you for all your comments. And I see who you're kind of rooting for. And I'm seeing you've got different choices. Who's your pick for lead actress at this point, you know, of the nominees? They've shared some of the reels they picked with you. They picked with us, and Allie Mills was just here, and I'm just trying to locate her, and she will be with us shortly. I'm just tracking her down, and then we'll have Allie on it. So anyways, yeah, I thought General Hospital getting 19 was pretty amazing. Leading the pack of all the shows, I thought was great. That it was a daytime drama is what I mean. And I think it's great that YNR are celebrating their 50th and GH is celebrating their 60th, and the Daytime Emmys is celebrating their 50th. So I'm hoping that the show this year will be a good celebration of daytime, and all that. I'm looking at some of your comments. Sherry says, I really want Sharon to win. The Yaki says Finola all day. Mandy, you want Finola. Colleen Finola. I'm hearing lots of Finola. Freeman is saying Sharon Case, but I think Melissa will win. Amber, I would be so happy if Sharon or Finola won. Griffin says GH is the best, and you're happy that the Bay got 3 nominations. Brooklyn Sky and Michelle Stafford. Gwen is going Melissa Claire Egan for the win. I'm just locating Allie. 1 second. We're just trying to locate her. Hold on. That's what I love about these. That's what I love about these live Zooms. Oh, Yaki said, long overdue for a GH actress to take the lead actress award. Finola to take home that one. She can accept in person. Her performances are always stellar. I see more Finola. Cass Marie Finola or Michelle. Teresa Finola. And Kelly, of course. She said, I missed all of this, but Finola is your pick. Was there anybody you guys thought should have been nominated that was not nominated from any of the shows that you would have liked to see nominated in any of the acting categories? It's always difficult when you're there's people that get snubbed, and then there's also people that you think submitted their reel, but they didn't. Like Maura West did not submit this year. I know a lot of people were like, well, Maura should have been nominated. And of course, Maura is fantastic, but she did not submit herself. Nor did Laura Wright this year submit herself. I'm seeing more. Hold on one sec. Still trying. I'm trying to track down Allie. All right, so I'm seeing more Finola. Yes, Cass, that's correct. Maura West did not submit herself. Teresa James Patrick Stewart, would you have seen him in the lead or supporting actor category this year? Lots of James Patrick Stewart. Yes, Senior Queen 08, Tabiana Ali. Yes, I thought Tabiana was great too. Okay, we have Allie Mills coming with us, we think. Allie Mills. Hello, Allie. Allie. Your camera's on mute. Hi.
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 Oh my God, it's you.
You.
I didn't know it was going to be you.
Yes, it's going to be me.
Hi.
Hi, Allie.
That I'm seeing you.
I hope
I
it's
didn't know what this was. I just knew it was fast.
Every year I do a Daytime Emmy Nominations Special,
So
and
sweet.
I talk to nominees that are nominated, and it's the night of the day that the nominations came out. And so when I saw your name, I was so thrilled because, first of all, let me tell you, you killed it as Heather Wepper on General.
Oh, honey.
And the fans loved it, and I thought you were amazing.
Oh,
And I just amazing. So I was all about you getting nominated. I thought it was great.
thank you so much. It's a trip.
Right.
A very unexpected trip.
What happened when you found out you were nominated today? Tell me.
I got a phone call from Frank Valenti this morning.
Valentini.
I should admit I sleep late. 'Cause I went to bed late last night. I sort of groggily said hello, and he said, "Hi, Al." You know, Frank talks. "Hi,
Yeah.
Al, it's Frank." And he went, "Congratulations." I said, "For what?" And he said, "You got nominated for our show." And I just went, it was a beautiful way to find out because I really love him. I felt that was one of the great things for me about this show is the very first day that I was shackled to the bed in an orange.
Remember that? Yeah.
He came up to me and sort of he has a weird way. I don't know if you know him well, but he stares in this strange, deep way. And we were wearing masks at that point. So these eyes were kind of, and I felt so seen as an artist. You know, he was down on the floor, right in the room, you know, with the chains in the bed. You know, it was so good. And it made me feel like a theater actor again, you know, like really young. I felt like I was 20 years old.
I really feel you enjoyed this.
I so enjoyed it.
And it was such a different departure to get to see you play crazy like this.
I know.
I'm not saying, and I don't know about the theater performances, but I'm saying on TV, from the mom to Pam, or, you know, you were in his goody two shoes.
I know. Well, that sort of happened after the Wonder Years.
Right.
People started seeing me as I'd never been married. I didn't have children, but I loved that character too. I loved Norma. But then everybody just saw me as a TV mom.
Right.
It's a very weird rut to get into when that's like kind of the farthest thing from your lexicon. And so this was just so different. Pam, was weird enough. And my relationship with Susan Flannery was weird enough that it was not quite, your normal housewife, Pam. She was pretty.
Right. She was, yeah.
But she wasn't crazy. She wasn't unhinged. She was just odd. She still is. She's just an odd girl. And I had a great relationship with my sister. I mean, it was so fun to play that too.
And
But very different.
yeah, and I'll never forget Betty White, you
Oh.
and Susan Flannery.
Oh,
Uh,
I mean, that was heaven. It was so great because Betty was so weird too. She was so mean. Do you remember?
She was so mean. Anne Douglas. She was a mean mother.
So mean.
Mean.
It completely denying that any abuse ever happened. It just never happened. And then it was like stuck in that apartment with her for 50 years or whatever, how old Pam is supposed to be, 55, you know.
Stuck with them. Yeah.
It's kind of like this crazy person. And then
those are amazing.
The idea to bring me out, it was so fun. I know, and Betty was just so amazing to work with. That the three of us had a blast.
That was like iconic TV for daytime.
It was amazing because our relationship again was so odd. You know, I was like under her thumb, under Betty's thumb, and she could like, you know, if she screamed at me like that, I got the doctors, I just freaked out, you know. And Susan just stood up to her, and it was a very interesting triangle and very real, you know.
Oh, it was amazing.
Really.
Now, Heather, what happened when you got the role? Did they explain to you like, so this is the backstory of Heather? And did you get the LSD references? Did they explain to you about all that? And Diana?
I immediately, when I found out I was replacing someone,
Robin Mattson,
character that already existed, Robin Mattson, I watched all of it. I read everything. I mean, I had a stack like this of, you know, things that fans wrote, history, backgrounds. There's a couple of people at General Hospital that have been there a very long time and they know everything. So I had some very long, like 2-3 hour conversations with the history department of General Hospital. The writers that really know everything, and they were wonderful. And the head writer, who's just was an angel and fantastic, really helped me a lot.
You about Chris and Dan?
Chris Van Etten.
Yeah.
In particular, because Chris Van Etten, it turns out, knows a friend of mine who's a Broadway actor really well. They live in the same cul-de-sac, which I think is sort of how this whole thing came about, was over martinis one night in the cul-de-sac. To be honest with you, I think both of them just
having martinis and like Allie Mills for Heather.
It came up like that. And so I got this phone call, you know, and replacing someone's a fairly scary thing. I had just done it in New York in a play. I replaced Judith Ivey, who's a great actor, I think.
Oh, she's amazing.
Like amazing, Tony winner and everything. And she broke her leg, and they asked me if I could fly in that night to do a play in New York, you know. And I read the play.
Wait, to replace her?
To replace her.
Oh my God.
Because she couldn't go on. I mean, she was lame for months and months. I mean, there was no way she could do it. And so that when I arrived in New York, the director said, we have a situation. I said, yeah. He said, could you go on tonight? Could you put on Judith's wig and her costume will pin it, and you just go on tonight, because the understudy quit when she found out that you were coming in to town. I was going to have a whole week to learn the play, to get up to speed before we opened to the New York Times. But I went on that night. I put on a pair of period shoes. It was a 1920s play, and just went on with a book in my hand. So I was sort of used to that, but replacing a fan favorite on a soap is no joke, because people love Robin Mattson.
You have to
quite rightly.
No, they're either livid that the person was replaced.
Yeah.
Won't initially accept it. But then, and they're like, you know, a lot of it's like, well, how could they cast him as in this role? But I do say they can be won over, and you won them over.
Oh, thank you.
Because I cannot.
You're different than Robin. I think
that was very different
to do. You know,
yours was but yours was very creepy and manipulative. Don't you think?
I think she was manipulative, but I don't think she was creepy. I just think
she was
so much freedom in being crazy that you can do anything. It's really an interesting thing to play. You can do anything, especially when you think you're the smartest card in the deck. She thought
Oh, she did.
And I think she was actually, except maybe with Sonny. I think she met her match with him and she knew it. And so she backed down when he came into her room that night. You know, she was in bed and he came into her room, and he's such a wonderful actor. I'm so happy he got nominated, Maurice Bernard. Oh, you know,
Amazing.
shoot me now. What a beautiful person to work with.
And I want to say that we had earlier on, Jon Lindstrom was on earlier.
I heard he got nominated too.
Nominated too.
For Ryan?
For Kevin and Ryan.
For
both
Kevin
of them.
and Ryan.
Yeah.
Wow.
His real head scenes with both.
Wow. So it
But
was
all of it,
before Heather came back?
It was for supporting actor.
So
He's
before
not-
Heather comes back, it's stuff he did.
I think so, because it was stuff with Avery Pohl. It was all stuff with Avery.
Uh-huh.
So
Who's
what,
such an angel. I mean, what a beautiful person to work with. What a talented kid she is.
she's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I
She's-
just love her.
So would you want to do another, would you come back?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this,
Okay.
but I am coming back. I'm not sure when or how. I don't know where I am. I mean, I keep thinking I'm with Anthony Hopkins on some island drinking Mai Tais.
We don't know where she is.
I think so. I mean, I don't know where I am, but so I don't know what the story is going to be. He didn't tell me this morning, but
Well, that's exciting. And I was going to say to you, have you been nominated for Emmys before?
no, you know,
Wait, what? Not
no, the only time I think I would have submitted myself was when we did the thing with Betty, but Betty, you know, should have been, you know, she was submitted for that thing, for that run as best supporting actress. So I didn't want to run against Betty. And so I, you know, and that was to me the deepest work on the show. Pam was more just fun and wacko, and I loved playing her, but it wasn't really sort of Emmy acting stuff. Not that Heather was either to me. She was just, you know, crazy too, but I worked so hard that I, you know, when it was suggested, I went, oh, okay, you know, that would be fun. But no, I have never been nominated or submitted for, no. So it's
so if
at
you
73, it's kind of a cool
it's so cool.
end of life.
Come on,
you know, like, why
come
not?
on. Amazing. So if you were to win, will you have a speech prepared?
I'm not gonna think, I can't think about that. I mean, I suppose you have to do that. I don't know, but I haven't
At
thought
some
about
point,
it.
you'll have to think, just like you may want to figure out like who you might want to thank.
Oh, I know who I want to thank.
Yeah.
And already I said the two people, I mean, you know, Chris Van Etten, I owe him everything because that writing, you know, and he would talk to me about it too. And we would change things together, which was amazing. Because Heather just never stopped talking. So it didn't really matter who she was talking to because she never listened to anybody.
Do you have a fan event this weekend?
I do.
Tell us about that. It's in New Jersey.
It's in New Jersey. It's one of those big things. I think it's called Chiller. Does that sound right to you? Have you ever heard of that?
Chill. Is it the comedy place?
I think, is it Comic-Con? I don't know the name of it. Ooh.
When are you there?
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in New Jersey. In I could look up the town on my phone. I'm flying into Newark is all I know.
Well, we need to know where you're going.
Yeah. I don't know where it is. Oh gosh. Anyway, I could look up this guy that is invited me. So I'm going with the whole cast. There it is. Let's see, what is it called? It is called. These are all pictures of Heather. Oh gosh. And look at how prepared I am. This is pretty
Okay,
embarrassing.
well, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chiller
wait.
Theater.
Yeah,
It is.
I got it.
called
Chiller Theater.
Yep.
Yep. Got it. Chiller Theater.
In Hilton, Parsippany, New Jersey.
I post it later so people can know.
Okay,
See-
great. Great,
All
great.
right. Thank
And I'm
you
going
so
with the whole
much.
cast of the Wonder Years, but I'm bringing Heather pictures too.
Oh, Wonder Years and Heather.
Yeah,
Great.
I'll probably bring Pam too. I mean, I don't want to
Bring
leave her.
Pam and lemon bars. Bring lemon
I'll bring
bars.
Lemon bars,
Bring lemon bars.
lemon bars and a hook.
Allie, it's so great to see you. Thank you
Great
so
to see
much.
you too.
I'll see you at the Emmys, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go. I think I'm gonna bring my granddaughter.
Oh, wait, we just lost. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. That's weird. Yeah, okay. You're gonna bring your granddaughter, you said?
I think so, yeah. You know, because Orson used to go to things with me, and now that I'm without my beloved, I'm gonna invite my granddaughter, who's 15. She'll love it. She goes to like events with me, and she loves them. When she sees people that she knows, she loves it. So
Orson would be so proud of your nomination.
I know.
I know he would.
I felt that right before I got on. I got a little bit verklempt. I can't lie. I thought, you know, because there's a picture of him right here on the other side of my computer. And, you know, I know he is. I know he is. And I know that he told me to do this. I always sort of ask him. The play in New York was the first thing I did after he died. And then everything, you know, there's things that have come up and it was like a big no. I don't want to just fill my time. But when it's something meaningful, and I think in a weird way, as crazy as she is, I think Heather's really meaningful. I'm sure she was really abused. That's like the bottom of her, you know?
That's one thing. I think you played these layers to her that kind of came across, you know, in the performance.
I love her.
I mean, I like, there was a different depth to her. Robin Manson was brilliant, don't get me wrong, but hilarious. But this was a different Heather.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like, and a very smart Heather, like you said.
Also, Robin wasn't killing people like quite LSD and all that, but it's very different when you're hooking people. So you got to get to some place that's really justifies you doing that. And you're
Do
still.
you have any idea you were going to be the hook killer, or did they just one day say you're the hook killer, or did you know from the beginning?
I know. So that, thank God, because I couldn't have like suddenly found that out and like, you know, created a backstory. So that was at the basis of everything. So I had to be like, why would I be with someone like Ryan and have that wild sexual relationship with him in the cottage, you know, and just. So there's a lot of darkness to her that I just attributed to abuse, you know, and she likes to get back at people. Why just let them go, you know, like get back at them.
Natasha says, wanted to say congratulations to my favorite TV mom of all time. And my family says, congratulations, Allie Mills Bean. Hope that you win the Emmy. Love you from Natasha, Scroggin, and family.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
And there's a lot of comments here. Allie brought a little comedy to it. Just an awesome performance. Do you feel you brought comedy to it?
Oh yeah, you have to.
Have to.
Oh, that's like the most important thing. You know, otherwise it would be unbearable. Yeah, I mean, so, oh yeah, that was like the very, and then again, you have to find out how do you get from that darkness to comedy, and it's her survival. It's just her survival instinct. She's just smart and she's funny and she's going to make, you know, definitely lemonade out of a lemon. There was really, like I said, there was only one person I felt was smarter than me, that Heather thought was smarter than her, and that was Sunny.
All right.
That's someone I could work for, you know, but
Ellie,
nobody else.
great to see you. Thank you so much. So
thank you for doing this. It's so sweet of you.
Of course, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, and congratulations to everybody else. That's amazing.
Bye, Ellie. Bye-bye. All right, I think Dan Feuerriegel is here. See if we've got Dan. Dan. Oh,
hello. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Sorry it took so long. I was in the car and it just kept hanging up on me.
I was seeing you come on and off, and I'm like, wait, I lost him. I don't.
Yeah, for some reason, it just kept hanging up.
But here you are, Emmy nominee. Here you
Yes.
are, Emmy nominee. So tell me, Dan, supporting actor.
Yes.
So well deserved. What scenes did you end up submitting that
I only submitted 2. I think my reel was maybe like 5 minutes long, 5 or 6 minutes long. It was the scene where I was having a conversation with Marlena where I blamed myself for Abigail's death and my mother's death, and also potentially Belle's death. And so I was just having a bit of a breakdown moment there. I had that one, and then the other scene I submitted was myself and Galen Rafe sitting where the accident took place, and just me basically feeling sorry for myself and just, not really wanting to live, shall we say.
And you chose those scenes when you looked at it from a like voting perspective or acting perspective. What did you like about those scenes for yourself?
Well, I loved that storyline because it gave EJ something different to do. It gave EJ some much needed, shall we say, vulnerability. It further reinforced his love for family, how important that is, and his love for his mother. And also, like, I was happy with what I did. I'm never fully happy with what I do, regardless of whatever happens. I generally get self-conscious watching myself do things. So I knew that I was going to pick from that storyline. I zoned in on what I thought was the best and just sent it off. I didn't want to overload it. I didn't want to do too little, didn't want to do too much. I could have put some more things in there, but I kind of felt that, I guess, from an acting standpoint, people get the point with those 2 scenes. Yeah, even I could have even just submitted one, and people would have gotten the idea of like, yep, there we go. That's what he can do.
Right. And to your point on that strategy, a lot of people, some people kind of do the wrong thing by putting too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like I think, again, like once it depends. I don't see a problem with, for example, if you want to do a bit too much, but it actually has like a narrative to it, like it has a storyline, and so you can genuinely follow it along from beginning to its completion. And there's a story behind it, rather than like just, oh, I like that scene from like 50 episodes ago, and then this scene which has no connection whatsoever. And so it might get a little bit overawed. But I just, I quick and fast, quicken the dead, as I say. And I'll just get it in there. This is what I think I'm capable of, and this is what I think I need to see. Kind of similar to an audition. People will watch an audition and they'll know almost instantaneously, like, yep, okay, that's who I want, or that's who I don't want. We know what he can do. And so I don't want to overload people with tons of stuff when they're like, okay, cool.
So Freeman says, I don't get Dan's nomination supporting EJ as a lead.
Well, I submitted for lead last year, and I had a few conversations with people, and how I now see lead nominations are for people and characters who have been on the show for a really good period of time. This is my 3rd year on the show. It's my 2nd in regards to nominations, and so I'm still relatively new. I mean, the first year I could have submitted for best newcomer, I think, if you want to look at it like that. But no, I thought, because even though the character's been around for a long time, myself haven't. I thought I was best suited for supporting lead because, I think the veterans and the people who have been on the show for a long time are the leads.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, the way it kind of plays out, but eventually we move into that.
When you pay my dues, shall we say.
Yes, when you found out you were nominated, who's the first person you told?
I told my parents. I mean, they were all asleep. It was in Australia, so they were asleep. I found out at so 8:45 this morning before the announcement, because like Day's PR team, they all knew apparently the night before, or even just before 9:00. And they gave me a call and said, just want to let you know that you were nominated for Best Supporting. Sorry, I've got my cats running around.
How many cats do you have?
I have two. So
Oh, I thought I felt like 5.
that's Quint, the little
Hi,
white one there.
Quint.
And Ripley's bouncing around down there.
Ripley's okay.
Sorry.
Did you tell
I just-
Quentin Ripley you were
sorry.
nominated? Did you tell Quentin Ripley you were nominated?
I don't think they care. They much prefer me to either play with them with a little
Or
fishing
feed
rod
them.
or to feed them. Yes.
So mom and dad
And-
in Australia.
Yeah, so mum and dad, I think mum actually replied to that because she was awake at the time. She was like, I'm having trouble sleeping, but that's so fantastic, Dan, and congratulated me. And then as the hours passed on and, my family slowly woke up, then I got congratulations. And then I told friends and everything like that. And then posted some fun stuff on social, and let everybody know that way. So yeah, that's how I did it.
What about your leading? Like, did you hear from Ari Zucker or Ali Sweeney? Anybody like that? The leading ladies you've worked with?
Yeah, absolutely. So Brandon Barash, he came in and knocked on my door and congratulated me. Lucas, he came in, Ari came in, and then throughout the day, just whoever was working, and then I got various text messages like Raven and Paul and a number of other people. And yeah, so I got a couple of text messages from friends that I hadn't spoken to for a little while, just due to everyone's been busy and yeah, so it's been a lovely day of just people kind of congratulating me, and then lots of people back home who have known me since I was younger and have seen what it's like being an actor and the struggles and ups and downs and yeah, so it's been a memorable day.
And one of your points, I so relate. A lot of people ask, why do I always do this? Because of what you said. It is a lot of ups and downs for actors. It is a lot of so much. And to get the recognition is really meaningful to an actor. And especially in this medium where we don't have a lot of awards and recognition for the work that's on daytime, there just isn't. And back when I started, decades ago, we had all these different award shows. We had the Digest Award, we had the MVP Awards, we had this award, we had all these different awards, but we don't have those anymore. So I kind of think it's important to celebrate that, because we don't really get a spotlight shined on the actual art, the acting, the direct,
Yeah, it's nice to get the recognition. I mean, I was confident in that I was confident in myself that, I think I'm good enough to potentially get nominated. I have no idea if that would mean that I would get nominated, because so many other factors come into play. But I'm happy and confident with my abilities, and then just lucky enough it came through today, and yeah, I'll enjoy the feeling of it and enjoy the memorable time of it, and back to work. Well, I mean, I was working today, so
you're working today, yeah. And Billy was on earlier. Billy Flynn was on earlier, and we were talking about his nomination. And I still love the scenes where you shot Clyde, or at the grave. I thought maybe you might put something of that in there. I couldn't remember if there was a lot of you in there. I remember I liked the brother exchange and him saving the day, because it was a bit of a character for him.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously it was a lot of fun to shoot those scenes, because both of us got to kind of be, I don't want to say psychopathic, but it was a fun dynamic to kind of gloat over someone's body who's bleeding out. It's interesting. It's fun to kind of play those darker kind of roles. It was thought about, but I just I don't think there was enough from me. Because I kind of just came in and, you know, saved the day. And then I was just like a bit of a dick. Whereas those scenes, I think, were more Billy, because, you know, he had a background with it. And I just kind of came in and, like, you know, had a few one-liners and things like that. So I didn't think it was like something for me. That was more for Billy. Yeah.
Right. Now, do you know the other gentleman in the category with you?
I know. Oh shit! Sorry. They just bounce around. I'm just waiting for them to knock stuff over. I know Nicholas. Like I've met him once. It was at a convention. Lovely guy.
Nick Chavez.
Yeah. I met him once at a convention in Florida last year. Lovely guy. I mean, I think because I follow him and he follows me, and I like how humble and appreciative he was on his Instagram story. He's the only person that I know. Yeah, like, I mean, everybody, everybody there obviously is worthy of being there, and they've all obviously done good work because they're voted by their peers. I don't know who voted, but you know, they obviously thought that we, at least this year, did a good enough job to get nominated. So thanks, everyone.
Congratulations, Dan. And thank you for taking the time to come on and let us celebrate with you for a little bit.
I appreciate it.
I think it's very well deserved, and I'm really happy for you. And
thank you. I appreciate that. It's yeah, we'll see how it goes. I have no expectations. I'm just going to enjoy the moment and celebrate it when I can, and you know, get back to work, you know, shall we say?
All right, I'll see you at the Emmys, hopefully.
All right, buddy. Absolutely. Sounds good.
Thanks, Dan.
Mate, take care. Thank you.
Bye. Dan, and 100 Days of Our Lives. And now, to close out our show, Eden McCoy is here.
Hello.
Hey,
Michael.
good to see you.
So good to see you.
Congratulations, Emmy nominee.
Thank you. Sorry, it glitched out for a second. Am I good?
You're good.
Good.
So you found out how that you were nominated.
I found out, it was super cute. I was filming when the announcement was being made. I was filming scenes with Mr. Chad Duell. And Frank came down to set and was like, Eden, have you ever been nominated for an Emmy before? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, you just were again. And so were you, Chad. And it was just really sweet because we were in the middle of a take basically, and we still had more scenes to film right after. So we couldn't like go crazy or anything. Chad was so stunned. He hasn't submitted in a few years, I think.
I know.
It's been a minute. Yeah. It's been a minute for him, and he was not expecting it. So it was really sweet to watch him get excited. But it was special. It was a lot of fun.
Now, what scenes did you submit that got you the nomination?
A lot of the sex tape story. Scenes with Miss Laura Wright that were emotional, talking about that when I first admit what happened to my mom.
Is that on the floor of the kitchen?
Yes.
I remember writing about that. Like it was so mother-daughter. Like it. Yeah. You guys played it perfectly. Yeah.
It was the first time that you had seen my character be so vulnerable. So I was very excited about that and about that story in general. So I had that. I had some courtroom scenes from the trial of the sex tape, where I'm testifying and I'm talking about what happened, and I'm sticking up for Trina, my best friend. Got pretty emotional there. Those were cool. And I had a couple scenes with Miss Avery Esme going off on her. So it was pretty the dynamic reel.
Those are your favorite scenes.
It was a dynamic reel. Yeah. It's always interesting when this time comes and you have to put a reel together, because all of that seems like it was filmed a million years ago, and I've done so much since. So it's always like kind of fun to like look back on your year, but I'm really excited.
Do you ever go through when you like, you know that, oh, I want to remember that come Emmy time? Do you do a kind of check mark for yourself?
A little bit. Yeah. I can just kind of recognize when something is special and could be worthy of recognition. So I make little mental notes, but nothing too crazy. And the show is also helpful with, they can push for things if somebody's in need of help and they don't know what to do. Like producers and director, they make notes if somebody like in the edit sees an amazing performance, they make notes for the actors. So that's helpful as well.
And to your point, we all miss Nika so much, Nika Garland, who at this time, because she helped everybody
Was everything. Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about Nika and how she?
Oh my God. I mean, she was an earth angel. This was her thing. I'm sure we're all doing it wrong. I'm sure we're doing it wrong. Feels really weird. I'm just so grateful because my reel and all of that stuff that I had worked on with her, that was finished before she passed. So it and to be honored for that and because that's her work too. It's just like a nice little putting a ribbon on her legacy. And, we had so many nominations and that is just as much her doing as anybody's. So it's really weird to not have her here, but you try to be optimistic and her work was recognized and that's exciting.
This is your second nomination, right?
It's my third. Yeah.
You're an old pro at this. So how are you looking at it this time? Did the last two times prepare you for anything you'll do differently this time? In terms of like sitting there and waiting for your name to be called?
Oh, yeah.
Like you're sitting there and you're like, what is that like? I don't know. Like what?
It's such a weird moment. It's exciting. It's just fun. You have fun with it. I think, and I've said this every year, I go in with no expectations and I already won. Just to be recognized for your work is an incredible feeling, like seriously. So I'm just happy about that. And the night itself, I try to not focus on that moment. And I just go and I view it as like, I'm here to support other people. I have a lot more fun when other people's names are being called than waiting for mine.
Right.
Personally. So, and it's great. And, it's always fun because, I judged this year, obviously, and that always makes it more exciting because, I voted, I partaked in something, I'm involved, I watched other people's work. So when the categories are up that I judged, that's like my highlight because I'm always like, oh my God, let's see what happens.
What category? Tell me what category you judged. Don't tell me specifics. Did you judge men, women?
I got the privilege of judging lead actor.
So what did you think of the men in the lead actor? What did you think of what
everyone's fantastic. It's great and it's fun to see other shows, to watch other stories. I think it's a really interesting process when you go into it not knowing anything. And then you can really just focus on the work in front of you. And everyone's so different. Everyone brings something totally different to the table. So I got that category and I had a lot of fun. And I had a lot of fun with Best Host was my other one. And we have so many incredible hosts and talk shows now. Like it's just become
huge. It's huge.
I mean, from Drew Barrymore show to Red Table Talk to they're insane. There's so many now that I'm like, oh, right. Oh my God, this show is so innovative and amazing. We had the Hot Ones guy was in there and I was like, oh my God, dude, congrats. And no shade to him. I think everybody's deserving. I was just like, this is so exciting because I forget that like these super fun like bits deserve the credit. Right. Of something like an Emmy. It's great. So I loved the host. I loved both my categories. I got lucky this year.
That's amazing. Now, would you prepare a speech? Or would you just kind of let it roll?
I would. I mean, I'd have an outline. Like I'm the type of person, I love to be prepared for things. But I think it's so much better to be a little more spontaneous than not and just see what happens. I do that with interviews. I do that most times with little speeches and toasts. It's all kind of improv for me. But yes, I have certain people that of course deserve all of the credit.
Now, did you hear from Nick Chavez, Tabiana Lee, William Lipton? Did these guys send you congrats, or what happened?
Yeah, the whole cast really.
Did Evan reach out to you?
Of course. Everyone's amazing. Everyone is amazing. I've been hearing from, my phone is still blowing up. I've been hearing from people all day and sending shit all day myself, because obviously we have so many this year. It's incredible. Like supporting actors.
Oh my God, it's all GH.
I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. So lots of texts between everybody, but yeah, everybody's been awesome. Tabby was one of the very, very first people to text me this morning. It's fun. And it was fun finding out at work, because then you get to
I wish I could have seen Chad's reaction.
He goes, and Chad, you too. And he goes, what? you know exactly what I mean. Literally, like just immediately. So funny. I was dying. I was so proud of him. Like, we have a dynamic that's so goofy and kind of giving each other shit all the time.
Right.
So when something serious like that happens, I almost don't even know how to behave towards him. And we were just like, all right, pal, like, cool, like, this is dope. And we were working together, and then Frank was like, all right, back to work now, prove you deserve it.
Now, what about your mom? Is your mom excited? What happened with mom?
Oh my God, she's so excited. I had a little celebration dinner right before this, and she's over the moon. She's over the moon. I'm gonna bring her as my +1, of course, and we're gonna have a great night.
How is the looking for a dress? Do you enjoy that or hate it?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I mean, I'll just find something. I haven't thought too much about it. I just know that I want.
We have 6 weeks.
Yeah, I want to keep it really simple and like have all the control over what I'm wearing. I want to keep it simple and timeless and comfortable. That's all I know.
The Yaki said the award is Eden, soap legend in the making.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Amelia says, I hope she wins. She is so sweet in person as well.
Oh, thank you.
Interesting. The category was interesting. Don't you have 2 little boys and you guys, you and Victoria?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And the little boys, they're
oh, they're good. Thomas
they're little boys, but yeah. I don't want to take, everyone in that category is deserving, and everybody works hard, and it doesn't matter. I could lose to anybody in that category.
I have a question for you. How do you feel about it's a gender neutral category? They mix, guys and girls are in the category together.
Yeah.
Do you like that, or would you prefer it to be back the old way it was?
I don't know. It's really
trying to figure that out myself, like how I feel about it.
Me too. It's really just funky with the younger category, and it's been funky for years. It's been really interesting for me over the years because it's always changed when I've been a part of it. And this is my 3rd nomination. The first 2 times I was nominated, I think I was 14 and 15 up against 26-year-old women. And the competition was much different, just demographically, and men and women were separated then, I think, for at least for my first nomination. So it's just been really interesting to be a part of that change. I don't know per se how much I agree with a lot of.
I think it's a little weird. I mean, I do think it's a little weird because the age is like the little boys and then you, and like, that's a little weird, just the age.
Yeah, it is. But it has been that way for a long time, if you think about it. Like when I think back to a while ago, like I remember, I think the first Emmys I ever went to or something, Brian Craig was in Younger, and there were little kids in that
Kids against him, right?
Against Brian Craig. So
Right.
so this is like this is a thing. This isn't really new. I think people were just surprised because like the younger cast on GH is separated. Like me and Nick are not in the
Right, 'cause
same
Nick is supporting
category
him.
because Nick is a couple years older than me.
Right.
And we have to remember the work I'm submitting, I filmed that when I was 18 years old,
Right.
because it's old. So that work goes in the younger category versus supporting.
Right.
And Tabby's older than me. Everybody's older than me. People forget that. And I totally understand. I can't believe it either. But yeah, I think it can look a certain way, but I just think it's important to not take anybody lightly, because I think
I do
matter
too.
your age, you work your ass off, and those kids have, and I think they're great, and they're, based off what I've heard of them, they deserve it. And again, I'm like, no expectations, man. like the nom is the nom.
You've gone before and not won.
Oh yeah.
Right,
And I had a blast. I didn't expect to win either of the times I was nominated, and I'm not going to expect to win it now. Like I'll be super happy if I do. If I don't, then I'll be super happy for somebody else. It is what it is. Like the proof is in the pudding. I'm just happy with my work.
Did Laura say anything or send you a text? Laura,
Oh
right?
yeah, of course. And I saw her because she was on set. She was downstairs as I was leaving today. And she was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna go now to support you." She didn't submit this year.
I know she did.
Yeah, but she's very excited for me. So she'll probably go now.
And to that point, I do think it's really wise, or a lot of actors and actresses, they don't submit every year just to submit. Like a lot of times they submit when they feel they have the material that they feel comfortable submitting. Because a lot, I was telling a lot of the fans earlier, Laura didn't submit, Mar West didn't submit, some people didn't submit.
Yeah.
Not that they were snubbed, they did not submit.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that she's not. It's a lot of work. It's a lot. It takes up a lot of time to put together a reel. Like it's a lot of thought. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of changes. It's a lot of drafts. Like it's not just something that you necessarily like can throw together in a day and be like, okay, we're good to submit. And, both of those women, Laura and Maura, who I've talked in depth about this recently, because you hear those names and you think of their characters and you think, oh my God, well, of course you're submitting. Because it seems like they always have amazing work because they're so amazing. But if an actor doesn't feel like it's their year, then why are we taking away from other actors that you kind of have an understanding that, but that story, we're going to push that story because, and not take somebody's spot just because you can. And I think that's really honorable. I think it keeps the award credible when you make decisions like that. It's not just some like free for all. So yeah, I really respect those women for that decision. Do I think they could have submitted and kicked ass? Absolutely.
Oh, I do too. I had my scenes for both of them that I would have chosen.
Totally.
And I was like, but I respect,
Totally.
I don't feel like, and taking a slot away.
Yeah.
I do too. I was going to say 60th anniversary General Hospital, you're part of the show. What's it been like to be on this ride during the 60th on getting Emmy nomination? I mean, it's kind of like, and you've been really kind of more front and center. Jocelyn's story's been over the last year.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about it?
It's been an honor. It's been so much fun. I think it's just felt like this, however many months long party. And And it's amazing. It's amazing to be a part of something that goes down in history. And the show was always that way, and I've always felt that way. But hitting milestones like that are so fun because it's a time for reflection. It's a time for gratitude more than anything. This past year, I've had the most fun on this show that I've ever had. And it's fun growing up here. It's fun meeting new lovely people, working with new lovely people, creating relationships with people on screen, off screen. It's a blast. I mean, it really is my family. Like these are people that I've like known and have seen me go through puberty and go through boyfriends and go through college and school. Like, I mean, if for real, like you can't fake that stuff. Like you have a bond there. And it's awesome being a part of the younger generation because it's a huge torch pass. And we all feel that way. And to honor the vets and the people that have made this accomplishment happen just based on their talent and the fans caring about them, you know, the Luke and the Lauras, I mean, all of it, like, and the fact that they're still there, Jane Elliott, like, it's just incredible because it's a celebration of them and their legacy at the end of the day and everything that they've got to accomplish so far. It's a blend of that, and we get to keep going, and I get to be a little part of where it goes.
My last question for you is, did you know when Evan was brought in, he was going to be Jocelyn's love interest?
So Evan was brought in. I don't think Evan was necessarily brought in for that, the character of Dex, because he worked without me for a little bit, for like, I think a couple months tops. And then, but very quickly I knew, and I hadn't met Evan before working with him. We didn't really know each other, just never kind of, you know, met up. And then Frank told me, he called me up and he was like, I'm going to chemistry test you with this guy and it's happening today. And you're doing these scenes and we're thinking about, you know, doing a relationship with you guys. And I was still with Will at the time. I'm going to use character names because this could get messy. I'm hearing myself. Right. I'm hearing myself and I'm like,
right.
Eden.
Yeah.
Jocelyn was with Cam still. And I was like, oh my God, this is so interesting and crazy that we're doing this. It wasn't expected, but I was so excited from the start. Everybody was. It was great.
Was William?
Will didn't know too much.
Oh, because they kept him because they didn't want him to know. So in the acting.
Well, it wasn't a personal thing. Will was just busy. He was working a lot with like other characters. He was working with Elizabeth a lot, I think, and stuff like that. Like we just weren't, and he's, you know, we were in school, like it was crazy. We weren't like debriefing. I didn't call him being like, guess what? He caught on very fast, but also like it wasn't a done deal that was going to happen. Like writers can change their mind, like things get pitched and then you never see them again unless there's something potentially there. So I didn't go in expecting all that. I was like, this is great and super interesting. And not only is this awesome for me, but this blows up a whole lot of people's lives, and this is great for a lot of characters. So it was exciting, and I always wanted that to go that way, but I didn't know for sure. Will caught on quickly though, and he thought it was hilarious. He was like, this is great because it's great for him. Like everyone was excited about it. We were like, oh my God, really?
Really?
Okay, this is great. This is what soaps are made of.
Right. Well, it's been really fun to watch, kind of Jocelyn's journey.
Oh yeah.
I think because of how she's positioned in the show, the audience cares about her. It's like they're, you know, and they've seen her grow up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a formative year for sure. I thought and think that it's just super refreshing because, you know, you can't you can't be on a pedestal forever. You can't always make the right call. That's not how life works. That's not how growing up works. That's not
Or love when you're
or
attracted to
love.
somebody. Sometimes you can't, if somebody comes into your life out of nowhere.
And it's complicated. Like people are like, oh, but poor Cam. And I agree. Well, I'm not saying what I did was right or the right call.
That's clear.
But like, there's things that you have to remember. Like, I'm like, did you think I was gonna only be with Cam forever, guys? This is a soap opera. Like, I'm sorry, but and it's great. It gives Cam an edge. It gives Cam something else to do. And Jocelyn and Cameron's relationship, I mean, that was over when that scandal happened. And they were children. You can't come back from your only intimacy and that what's supposed to be wonderful, life-changing experience together. When that blows up like that, you're on rocky road. And then you know, Dex comes along and he's just the opposite of Cam. Like, he has all of this, he has this dangerous past, his job, like he comes from like a completely different world, but also a very familiar world. And Dex has gone through a lot of loss, and so is Jocelyn. And that's where two ends meet right there, because that's just like trauma bonding stuff that is quick and intense and exciting. And she's never felt that before. Everybody remembers like their first like real adult relationship. That's what he is for her. Like, she should be crazy in love.
Trying to remember mine. It was long ago, but I do. But yes, you do go there when you remember your first. It's life change. It changes.
You make dumb choices.
Dumb choices.
You don't think. She's not thinking. She's not thinking. It was selfish. She doesn't hate Cam. She doesn't not love Cam. It's just different. You got to grow, and sometimes you are the bad guy.
I see a book in your future. I can just see years from now, you'll be writing your book and your memoirs of being on the show as a young woman and
Totally. I love that idea. I love memoirs. They're like all.
I think your memoir would be interesting. We'll see where that goes. I want to thank you so much coming on today. It's great to see you.
Will you be at the celebration?
At the Emmys?
Yeah.
Yes. I will be at the
Thank
Emmys.
God. I'm just checking.
I'm planning on it. And then I'll see you, I think, at the GH convention, right?
Yes. I'm so excited. Okay, yay.
Yeah. So I'm moderating the panels there, so I'll see you there.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. I love you. It's a pleasure as always.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Oh, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed our show tonight. I want to thank all of the guests that came by. I've read a lot of your remarks tonight. Obviously, a lot of the nominees that we wanted to have on, if they weren't on, is probably they had a conflict or something, but a lot of them were asked, but a lot of them may have had plans tonight or were working or things like that. But we'll do some things with some of the other nominees coming up in the next week or two at Michael Fairman TV and maybe right here at the Michael Fairman Channel. I want to make sure all of you tune in to the 50th Daytime Emmys on June 16th on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and we're off to the Emmys. Have a great night. Bye-bye.